We'll be live in just a few minutes. All right, there we go. We'll be live in about 10 minutes on the radio. Oh, we've got to put the mic on. We got about 10 minutes and we'll be live on the radio. Was that loud on your ears? I just dropped the mic on the floor. Welcome, everyone. My name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome, one and all. Oh, man. I'll start the mainstream when we go live on the radio. I'm still getting used to these bifocal lenses, so I'm going to be switching back and forth a lot. Yeah, we'll be live in about 10 minutes on the radio. And of course, I'm going to lead with Ukraine having lost the war. Because that's what we got to talk about. There's other things too, but that's what I'm going to lead with. All right. Welcome, everyone. Yeah, the show will start in about 10 minutes. I will be taking your calls, and of course, you're welcome to call in. Yeah, this is my Charlie Kirk sweatshirt. My wife got me this a couple of months ago. Really nice. Yeah, a good one. It's a good one. My pants are falling off because I've lost all this weight, and I grabbed a very old pair of pants. So I've got these pants on so freaking, the belt, I put another hole in the belt. These pants are like 3 sizes too big with all the weight I've lost from Coastal Weight Loss Secret. But it's the way it is. Welcome, everyone. Yeah, it just does not seem like Monday to me. It seems like Friday. You know, it really does. Now, make sure when I start up that you jump over to my main stream when I fire that up in a couple of minutes, guys. Okay. But I'm going to fire the mainstream up when we're about to start. And if you want to call in, the number's pinned in the live chat. I'm going to be very distracted today because these pants are so big that I'm wearing. I didn't realize in the dark what I was doing. But I do now. Welcome, one and all. Yeah, these are the meta glasses I was talking about earlier. These are amazing. I took the bifocals out of them because it was just a little too distracting for me. Welcome. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. So I'm going to lead with talking about how Ukraine has lost the war. That's going to be the first topic, and then move into Nick Shirley and Tim Waltz and everything. Because those are the big stories today. But I'm going to start with Ukraine. It really really good podcast on Friday about Nick Shirley, but I'm going to do a follow-up because of everything that's going on with that. This is what happens when you get dressed in the dark. I put on pants that are they're like clown pants. They're so baggy on me. I have to hold them up with my hands. The belt's just not tight enough. Oh, here comes Mike. Oh, man. How's it going? Hey, Joe's coming in today. Do you know who these are from? Because there's two. That's Daniel. Who's Daniel?
I think the one the board ops.
Oh, from the weekend.
From the weekend, or like.
Who left that? I couldn't see.
Miss Tina.
Oh, Tina. Oh, I thought it said it looked like Tara.
No.
I was wondering. I was like.
Yeah, she wanted.
No, that was nice of her. I wasn't sure who left it.
Same with the flag as well.
Oh, that's a nice flag. Yeah. Awesome. All right, we just have about 5 minutes, and then we'll be live, guys. 5 minutes. It's 2 minutes. It's at 90 seconds till the top, but there's commercials at the top of the hour, so I don't see exactly what time we're going to be on. All right, 1 minute till 6. Hey, Mike, can you cut the recorded My Pillow is dated? I got to do an updated one for New Year's. Yeah, because it's Christmas. Yeah. The recorded commercial for My Pillow is Christmas. Christmas is over. They just sent me the New Year's specials, and I have to record a new commercial for that. Welcome, everyone. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. There we go. All right.
Number one choice for same-day AC service and installation. Here's your oldies forecast. In the 60s for tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, high of 68. Below tomorrow night of 45. Weather brought to you by All Year Cooling. Enjoy free AC residents along with same-day service and installation. Visit allyearcooling.com to schedule your service today. And remember, the All Year family is here to serve your family all year long. And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by Palm Beach Auto Club. That's your traffic brought to you by PBKC. It's a new wins this January.
Stand by, guys. I'm going to start the mainstream in just a moment.
All for just $24.95 a month for 5 years. All you have to do right now is call 833-283-5050. That's right, just $24.95 per month. Secure your home and family. Call 833-283-5050 to receive this limited time offer. A free home security system and professional installation, absolutely free. Your Siemens home security system includes a touchscreen keypad, 3 door or window sensors, a motion detector.
Here we go. One more commercial after this.
So you can check in anytime from anywhere. You can't put a price on peace of mind. So call 833-283-5050 right now. At Sloman's Home Security, we believe every family deserves to feel safe because protecting what matters most shouldn't be complicated or expensive. Call 833-283-5050 to get your free.
If you're on hold, hang in there. The show hasn't started yet.
Sloman's Home Security, protecting families nationwide. Call 833-283-5050 to get your free home security system and professional installation today, or visit slomans.com.
If you're dreaming of that perfect Caribbean cruise, nothing comes close to Celebrity Beyond, sailing year-round from Miami to the Caribbean, including our 10th annual cruise in March. Every cruise on Celebrity Beyond is unforgettable. Every detail is taken care of, and you'll enjoy all-inclusive fares, world-class restaurants, and top-quality beverages that redefine indulgence. Relax in the retreat, your own private resort within a resort, or unwind on the retreat sun deck with panoramic ocean views. You can pamper yourself in Aqua Class, where 5-star spa experiences will melt your stress away. From the lively martini bar to the breathtaking sunset bar, every space on board Celebrity Beyond is designed to inspire and delight, all backed by Celebrity's unmatched service. Call Cruise and Travel Depot today at 561-244-5779.
Here we go.
That's 561-244-5779 to book all your celebrity vacations. Because when it comes to luxury at sea, on board Celebrity Beyond, nothing comes close.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All righty, it is Monday, December 29th, 2025. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. And hopefully I'll be able to get through today's show. Friday was very rough. That last hour on Friday, I basically had a coughing fit. And but I got through it. It is the Monday after Christmas. Hope everyone had a good Christmas. It does not seem like Monday to me. It's a holiday week, and I don't know why, but it seems like Friday to me. And we got a lot to cover. And I'm going to start with this big meeting that Trump had yesterday with Zelensky at Mar-a-Lago, right down the street from the radio station. And we're going to there's a big elephant in the room that no one wants to talk about. We're going to cover that. Also going to get into the most amazing reporting, probably the biggest investigative reporting I have seen in my life, done by Nick Shirley in Minnesota that he dropped on Friday, that's been viewed by over 100 million How many people watched the last episode of MASH, guys? Does anyone remember? The last episode of MASH was the most viewed television show at the time. Remember, everybody didn't have cable yet. 1983. Have more people seen Nick Shirley and his reporting already, because it's still growing, than saw the last episode of MASH? Does anyone remember? Let me know. And we're going to cover that and a whole bunch more. And I must tell you, I got dressed in the dark this morning, and I am wearing a pair of pants that are so big on me. They're like clown pants because of all the weight I've lost from Coastal Weight Loss Secret. So I've got the belt. I had to put another hole in my belt this morning. Still, I didn't put the hole far enough back, so I'm kind of holding my pants up with my hands while I'm broadcasting here. So I may be a little distracted, but there's a lot going on. We'll also take your calls at 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Okay, first I'm going to talk about Ukraine before we get into the other stuff, because this, I saw the press conference and everything with the president and Zelensky yesterday at Mar-a-Lago. And here's the big elephant in the room that no one wants to say. Ukraine has lost the war with Russia. Does not everyone agree with that? Ukraine's lost the war. And you could argue that they lost it on day one. There's no way that Ukraine has any hope of beating Russia. And if Zelensky does not agree to some type of peace agreement, very soon, that's going to be it. They're just slowly going to collapse. And a few months back, President Trump offered Zelensky the best deal he was ever going to get. He agreed to sign it when he was in Ukraine. And then he flew to Washington, and I guess he had Pelosi and these other Democrats whispering in his ear. And when he got to the White House, he refused to sign it, which would have not only ended the war, but made what land Ukraine kept safe and secure. And that was the mineral deal. And President Trump came up with the most brilliant idea, not only to end a war, but to stop further aggression. The mineral deal, these mines with all these rare minerals in them, are in eastern Ukraine. Although I don't know, are they now in Russian-occupied territory? They've advanced so much, I don't know. But at the time, they were in what was eastern Ukraine, and still may be today, barely, but it may be under Russian occupation, or at least some of it, I don't know. But President Trump, they had this mineral deal that President Trump had made with Ukraine, and what the deal was this: you give the United States rights, mining rights, in these mines in eastern Ukraine. We're going to send U.S. companies over there with American workers, with their families, okay, and they are going to be living there. And it'll be the border between Ukraine and Russia. And Russia, even after Putin, Russia would never invade and kill a whole bunch of Americans, especially civilians. But they wouldn't do it if it was even the military. And it was a non-military kind of DMZ deal. It was brilliant. And Zelensky said he would sign it. And not only would it have ended the war, it would have stopped further aggression by Russia in the future because of the Americans living there. Would never risk that. And Zelensky said, okay, I'll sign it. And he flew to the White House. And when he got to the White House, he wouldn't sign it. And it was that famous Oval Office exchange with Zelensky versus J.D. Vance and Brian Glenn, Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend, when Marjorie Taylor Greene asked him about his clothes and all of that. And he left, and he refused to sign it. Right then and there, Ukraine lost the war. Okay? That was it. And see, Zelensky really doesn't care, I think. And the reason is, when the final fall of Ukraine happens, Zelensky and his family are going to get on a jet and jet off to wherever they've set up a life for all the billions of dollars they've stashed away of U.S. taxpayer money. Whether that's in Europe or in Miami, I don't know, but that's what his plan is. He's already got an exit strategy. The Ukrainians like Miami for some reason. But there's a lot of Russians in Miami. I don't know. I don't know if we want Russians and Ukrainians on the streets of Miami. It'll be like the cocaine cowboy days. I don't know about that. But Zelensky blew it with the mineral deal. The war has been lost. There's no way that Ukraine was ever going to win. Now, of course, Europe could do something stupid and decide they want to have a third world war, which they may do because they're very stupid. But they'll be on their own with that. President Trump's not going to join them in the third world war. And that's a fact that Ukraine has lost the war, and you just got to accept it. And I saw this very strange trend going on social media yesterday with liberals saying, well, how much of the United States would you give up to a foreign invader? Well, first of all, that's a ridiculous comparison because they're not us. But I'm looking at the clock. I am going to take every break on time today, the best that I can. So if you're on hold, stand by. I'll finish with this when we get back. Our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening. I want to talk about Friendly Tire in Margate. They are open today. They were open the day after Christmas, the Saturday after Christmas, and today, the Monday after Christmas. Friendly Tire in Margate is open for business, and you can, remember, you guys can get new tires out the door and on the road for as low as $75 a tire. Good used tires out the door and on the road for as low as $35 a tire. And remember, Friendly Tire does not charge you to balance the tire, mount the tire, or even dispose of your old tires. He's got all the name brands you know and love. One of our listeners was just in there. I stopped by the other day to talk to Mike and was buying a new set of Pirellis. I love Pirellis. I'm a Firestone guy. I usually buy Firestone, but Pirellis are pretty awesome too. He's got all the name brands you know and love. Give him a call. He'll give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. He also does tire repairs, and he can get tires for any vehicle, any size. Give him a call, 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. Call us on hold, stand by. We'll be right back. So if you're on hold, hang in there. I will get to the calls. And guys, make sure you flip over to my main stream. We've got a lot to cover. Only just begun. I want to desperately try to take all the breaks on time this year. Last year, that was my New Year's resolution. I did all right for a while. If I take the breaks on time, the show will flow much better. But I get wrapped up either with a caller or where I'm going that I just lose track of time. My wife got me the Meta glasses for Christmas, and I'm going to talk about these. Hey, Meta, off. I hit a button, and it started playing my podcast. But my wife got me these Meta glasses.
Here's the Mark Filling podcast.
Hey, Meta, off. Oh, boy. Hey, Meta, off. Hey, Meta, stop. I don't know all the commands yet. They're amazing. These glasses are absolutely amazing. I got to talk about them because the technology is scary. It's absolutely scary.
604-4602.
This is George Colony. I'm in the real estate business in Fort Lauderdale, Florida with Kai's Real Estate. I've been in business for 6
If you're on hold, stand by. I got to finish up with where I'm going with this before I go to the calls.
Sell real estate. To tell you the truth, it's always the right time. You You just need to have the right advice from the right advisor. You can call me anytime because I answer my phone on the first ring. My number is 954-801-7320. That's my personal cell phone number. And I answer it on the first ring every time. Please give me a call. I'm happy to answer any question that you have. My cell phone number is 954-801-7320.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6642. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
When you need lab work, don't waste hours and hours waiting at the doctor's office.
Yeah, today's the first day I don't feel sick.
Boca at any lab test now at Coral Springs. Their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest
You know?
anywhere. No appointment, doctor's order, or prescription is needed, and you're in and out in 15 minutes or less. They offer every lab and blood work your doctor can order. They even have drug testing and STD testing. Take control of your health care and visit any lab test now at Boca at any lab test now at Coral Springs. There's lots of any lab test nows around, but these are the only two advertising on our radio.
All right, here we go.
Don't use the rest.
Coming back.
Go to any lab test now at Boca at any lab test now at Coral Springs. And make sure you tell them we're about the radio.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, Harrison Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All righty, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Call us on hold and stand by. It's the Monday after Christmas, and we're talking about Ukraine. And, my wife got me 2 insanely great Christmas presents. And one of them, I want to talk about these later because they're so crazy. The Meta glasses. I'm wearing the Meta Ray-Bans with transition lenses. So outside they turn into sunglasses. And they're so high tech, it's scary to me, these Meta glasses. I just wore them for the first time yesterday, and it's really scary. If my grandparents were alive today, they died in the 1980s. If my grandparents were alive right now and I gave these to my grandparents, they would burn me at the stake for performing witchcraft. I mean, they're crazy. But I'll talk about that maybe a little bit later. But these Meta glasses, does anyone have Meta glasses? You ever used the Meta? You can get them prescription, Mike. It's scary. Wait till I tell you some of the, and I don't even know how to use them yet. And I'll just tell you one quick thing, then we'll get to Ukraine. I can have it translate any language that I'm hearing. And I turned this on yesterday. I was watching Telemundo and Univision on my television yesterday morning wearing the Meta glasses. It was translating everything. They even had some chat show like The View with a bunch of women that were yipping and yapping. It was translating. I couldn't believe it. I went to Pollo Tropical, okay, and some of the menus in Spanish, and I told the glasses to translate the Spanish menu to me, and it did. I mean, instantly. I mean, I was like, what? It does more to. Anyway, we'll get to Ukraine. So Ukraine has lost the war, and there was this trend. That's it. They've lost. I mean, come on. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. It's just the truth. And there was this trend on social media yesterday with all these liberal idiots. They have no skin in the game, right? And they're saying, well, how much of the United States would you give up to a foreign invader? Well, first off, that's not even a good comparison or an analogy, because we're the most powerful country in the world. That wouldn't happen. We would give up nothing because we wouldn't have to. We could just nuke them out of the water, right? And we're off the earth if we had to, if it got that desperate. However, during the Democratic Party insurrection, do you guys familiar with the Democrat insurrection? It's known as the Civil War in all the history books, the American Civil War. I call it the Democrat insurrection against the federal government because that's what it was. And if you go back to the Civil War, the Confederate president, Jefferson Davis, did not surrender to Lincoln. General Lee surrendered to Grant. The Confederates still had armies all over the country. How long, it took like 2 months for the hostilities to really end because of communication. That's what Juneteenth is all about, right? Juneteenth is when the Union Army made it to Texas and told the last slaves they were free. So the Confederacy gave up everything. One of their generals, not even their only general, one of their generals surrendered to Grant, and that was it. They still had armies everywhere because General Grant realized that the war was unwinnable. They still had armies, they still had people. And then what happened? The Confederate government fled. Eventually, they were captured. But Jefferson Davis fled and was briefly talking about some guerrilla war somewhere that the Confederacy could continue, but it didn't happen, obviously. Well, maybe President Trump needs to be negotiating with that general that was at Mar-a-Lago, the one that he said yesterday looked like he was from Central Casting. Maybe President Trump needs to negotiate with that guy because Zelensky, he doesn't care. He just doesn't care. And the Confederacy gave up everything because they knew the war was not winnable. And that's what needs to happen now. And I bet you, I would not be surprised that that Ukrainian general that President Trump said looks like he's from Central Casting, that was with Zelensky yesterday. Do you think that guy would make a peace deal against this dictator Zelensky, who's been in office how long past his term? A year? I've lost track. How can you be fighting for democracy when he's in office past his term? Because Zelensky has not accepted that they've lost the war. And what's going to happen is, there's always going to be hostility between Ukraine and Russia. It's like the Palestinians and Israel. And there's just going to be spaces of peace. But a lot of people are dying. President Trump says 25,000 a week. Is that both sides or each side? I'm not sure. I still don't understand how Pavlo in Ukraine can still be doing lifestyle videos and vlogs on YouTube with his bikini model girlfriend in Ukraine. Why hasn't Pavlo in Ukraine been drafted? I don't know what that's about. It's very strange. But Zelensky has not accepted that they have lost and that there's no path to win. See, what Zelensky thought for a long time is that the United States and Europe would escalate and get behind and have troops on the ground. And you know what? If Willie Brown's girlfriend, the wino, who's giving dating advice to people last week, what's dating advice from Kamala Harris? Get in the champagne room and the VIP room and look for a rich guy and I don't know what dating advice she'd be giving, but she was giving dating advice last week. If Kamala Harris had won the election or Joe Biden was still president, yeah, there might have been a ground escalation and the Third World War may be going on right now, or it may have started later this, next year or something. But that's not going to happen with President Trump. The war is over. It's been lost. And I think President Trump has bent over backwards offering Zelensky deals, but I just don't think you can broker a deal with Zelensky. And you know what? President Trump and his guys, Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth and JD, they're very smart. They're smarter than me. Would you be surprised if JD Vance and Marco Rubio did not talk to the Ukrainian general from Central Casting and start talking about, well, maybe Zelensky's got to be overthrown. Maybe you should be the one who steps up. Because he doesn't care. He's going to be off to Europe and retire in Paris or the Cayman, wherever he's got his billion stash, that's where he's going to retire. My guess would be he would rather come to the United States because it would be safer for him and his family from Russia in the United States. But he has an exit strategy where no matter if all of Ukraine falls, he's going to be okay and have billions of dollars in the bank. He's not worried. He really isn't. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We'll take our break for the bottom of the hour, and when we get back, I'll go to the phones. And I got a lot of other things to talk about. I will get into what Nick Shirley reported over the weekend, which was amazing, and the Minnesota fraud. Will Tim Walz be arrested? And now, that Democrat that did those killings up in Minnesota, people are starting to ask the question, were those Democrat murders by that weirdo Democrat in the mask, was it about this fraud that's going on that's been uncovered in Minnesota? So we're going to talk about that and a whole bunch more. But like I said, after the bottom of the hour break, we'll go to your calls. There's 2 openings on the board. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Making more.
Oh, man. If you're on hold, stand by, guys. Oh, man. Does it not seem like not Monday? It seems like a Friday to me. I don't know why. I'm going to live stream all week. So I'll be here on YouTube all week. The radio schedule, I don't know if we'll do the show on New Year's Day or not. But I'll definitely live stream on YouTube on New Year's Day and New Year's Eve. We'll be on the radio on New Year's Eve. But New Year's Day, I will at least be here. So I will be with you all week. There's too much news going on. You can't take a break, right? Mm-mm.
Traffic brought to you by PBKC. Don't miss the incredible 2026 lineup of entertainment at the Paddock Restaurant at PBKC. Enjoy comedians Tyrus and Joe DeVito and fabulous dinner shows featuring the ultra
Oh, man.
Valentine's Day show, Ticket to the Moon, the Road Trip, and Studio 54 with the Reaction Band. The Paddock is also your best bet for exciting OTB and football action with over 140 HD TVs and big screens. For tickets and info, go to pbkettleclub.com.
Are you planning on retiring in the next 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, at any point in your life? Or are you already retired? Listen, economically, it's a mess with the stock market ups and downs and inflation out of control. In fact, it's the highest inflation rate in 40 years. You need a plan of action for your retirement plans. You need the advice of a retirement expert who can help you protect your money, guarantee your income, and stop losing money. Joe Thomas is president of Retirement Network Advisors, South Florida's premier retirement experts, and has been for over 20 years. He's seen it all and is a true professional that you can trust. They're family owned and operated. His daughter Jenny works with him. You know Joe and Jenny from right here on True Oldies. He's the host of
One more commercial after this, and we'll be back, guys.
For over a decade. You need Jupiter Joe's book, The Retirement Know-It-All. Mention my name, Brian Craig, and receive a free copy of his ebook. Go to jupiterjoe.com or call 561-743-0999. That's 561-743-0999. Take advantage of his free phone consultation too. Go to jupiterjoe.com or call 561-743-0999.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 49 years on the air.
All right, we're back. It's Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian, and I have started my New Year's resolution early, taking the breaks on time. I did that last year, and I stuck to it for a little while. And the show's already going smoother. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We're talking about Ukraine, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I didn't know it was going to be a call.
Yes.
I want to say everything you're saying is exactly right. And I even think it's more just the undercutting of Europe with them constantly getting together and undercutting Trump and kind of puppeting him. He's just a puppet. And I think that there was a thing I read about that they had given him a loan. And in this loan recently they had given was that it's a loan that he has the defeat of Russia to be paid back. And the thing is, Putin responded back with a writing saying to Europe that can't they read in that 37 document, or I don't know how many pages it was, that Trump sent this strategy to our country. And he said that President Trump has gone ahead and said that doesn't deem Russia as a threat anymore.
Yes, that's true. Not to us.
Yeah, not to us. He's made it that our hemisphere is our main target to protect, and that's it. And I think that this deep state that goes on, and not just the world order in Europe and all over the world, is that they are in a death fight with us right now, and they're undermining our president in every aspect that they can, because now they're doing a waiting game. They can't beat him right now, but their waiting game is the 26th with the elections. And if they lose that, they're in deep trouble.
Well, look at Canada. How much did Canada give Zelensky the day before yesterday? $12 billion or something. Canada's not even paying their part of the North American alliance deal that they have with us, and they're giving billions of dollars to Ukraine. This is the thing about Europe. Europe profited very well from the Second World War, and they just don't understand. They just don't understand this country or Trump. They don't understand where we are, and they think that if they cause another war, that it's going to be a big windfall cash from them. But Trump will pull out of NATO before he gets involved in a war with Russia.
Absolutely. Hey, Brian, I just wanted to say one thing, too. I listen to you as best. I'm out in California, sunken state that's falling into the ocean right now because of Newsom. People don't realize how bad it is out here. I mean, we are a dead state, and I'm leaving, and we're losing $1 million a year. Now they want to tax us on to leave the state. They want to, in November, they couldn't push it through their government here. So what they're doing is going to put it to the voters in November. They'll put a 5% tax for 3 years on us. I think it's 1 year to 3 years. But the whole thing is that when you sit over here and you get a chance to listen to you, Brian, it's a breath of fresh air, because we don't have that out here no more. We used to have some conservative radio out here. It's gone.
Well, the ones that were out there, most of them died, I guess, right? Literally.
Get up. I got to get up at 3 in the morning to listen to you.
Well, that's why this show should be on every radio station in America. I mean, this is, let me say this about California. See, I'm very curious with all the ICE action, what election day is going to be like in California. I don't think it's, so many people that are hiding out from ICE, they're not even going to work. So what's going to happen on election day? We could have some conservative victory if there are more Republicans in California than in Florida, okay? I know you got a bigger population, but there's more Republicans. And if Republicans in California have a massive turnout, you could shock the world, because turnout is going to be lower than normal from the Democrats because of the fear of ICE.
Yeah. And the corruption is real with ICE, with the illegal votes staying home.
Yeah.
Great point. I mean, we see the corruption of our election, like the previous one when we.
Well, but that's different than now. That's different than now, because now I mean, what part of California are you in?
Northern California.
Oh, well, okay. So you don't. Okay. Well, I don't know how it is. I don't know how it is in San Francisco, but where isn't it? But in Southern California, with the huge illegal population, it's got to be more than in Northern California. they're basically hiding. They all think they're a bunch of Anne Franks hiding in their apartments, afraid to come out. So what's that going to do on election day? And so Republicans in California need to really organize a massive turnout for both the primaries, but then the main election, in November. All right, appreciate the call.
God bless you, brother. Thank you.
All right, take care. Yeah, we should be on the radio in California, and every state, by the way. All right, let's go. First call of the week started off pretty well there. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Kevin.
Yes, Kevin. What's on your mind?
My question.
Now, here we go.
Is, I think with Trump, it's like, why would you fund that? Why billions, and then say you're worried about bloodshed? I mean, he obviously knew they weren't going to win the war. All you're doing is funding more blood.
Well, no, a lot of the, the money, most of what you're talking about, I can't say every dollar of it, but most of what you're talking about was passed in legislation before Trump came into office. So it's and signed by the auto pen. So it is federal law that money has to be sent to them. You can't stop it. Most of it, at least.
He gave them weaponry.
No. That it includes that. The whole aid package was passed through Congress and signed by the auto pen.
He funded it as well. Trump funded it.
Well, I'm telling you, I said I can't speak for all of it, but most of it was it's law to do it. When the auto pen was in the White House, Biden, okay, they made the deals they made to give were not on that day. It was over the course of time, and I remember when President Trump first got elected, they were talking about this, and he was talking about it, how it's unfortunately part of it.
He still gave him money. He gave him billions.
Well, no matter what I tell you, you're going to go back to it. I mean, he can't, the money that was passed by the previous administration, he can't stop from going.
Put an end to it.
No, he couldn't. No, you don't.
Listen. This is about a military-industrial complex.
Well, I agree with that. That is true. But the law is the law, and when they pass bills that are signed by presidents, it's the law.
Yeah. Well.
Then you got to pass a new law to undo the old law.
Yeah. What's that saying? Meet the new boss and the old boss.
I don't know what that saying is, but all right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie. First,
hey, Richie.
What time do you have at that radio station? I think I don't know if you're on the right time here. What time do you got planned?
6:38. 6:38.
Yeah, you're okay there. You're right. Hey, here's the deal.
Why do you ask that? Why'd you ask that?
Because I thought you guys were off. Usually you take your half-hour break on a half hour and you come back 25 bucks.
I'm supposed to take the bottom of the hour break. The scheduled time is 27 minutes after the hour. I usually take it about 30 minutes after the hour to 34 minutes after the hour. So on time would be 27 minutes after the hour.
I want to speak about Ukraine here. Okay, first of all, President Trump's doing the best he can with the situation he's in. The war was lost. You see, when I hear you say, "Well, that's the way it is," you're right. You're 100% right. But it sounds like Hillary Clinton talking about Benghazi. What difference does it make? The fact of the matter is, and we've got to go in history because you're a history major. What is your word? Your word is as good as your character. Do you agree?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm a man of my word. Yeah.
Do you agree when a country, especially the United States of America and Britain, okay, go to a country and say, give up your nuclear weapons now, and we will protect you, and we will protect your sovereignty. Nothing will happen to your country, and they believe you, and they give it up. It's like the Democrats telling you, give up your guns that you're protecting your family. We'll protect you, and then when you give your guns up, they don't do nothing for you. This goes back to Barack Obama. You don't want to get involved in war, but Barack Obama should have never let the Soviet Union invade. He should have. I'm telling you, that was the mistake made, and Trump is paying for it.
Yeah, what Richie's talking about is when they took Crimea. which was Crimea was Ukraine, and Russia came and took it, and when Obama was president, yeah.
It has to do. It all goes back to that our word that we were going to protect them, and we didn't. I'm not talking about President.
See. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Ukraine. I mean, you agree with me that Ukraine has lost the war. It's lost.
100%.
Yeah.
They lost on day one when they were invaded.
Absolutely.
They lost on day one when Crimea was taken, when Obama didn't do anything. You see, the Democrats are funny people. They talk a big game, but they're fake. Our word was. I can't believe that the United States didn't back Ukraine way back then. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And President, I mean, the blame is not Zelensky. The blame happens to be Obama. It's not.
I mean, think about it. Ukraine has Russia on their southern border and their eastern border. It's a tiny country, and Russia is a massive country. And if you talk about history. If you study the history, I don't want to hear anybody call me about that war with Japan that they had in the 1800s. That doesn't count. But if you look at the other wars that Russia's had, and of course I'm talking about against Germany and France, right? Napoleon and Hitler. If you look at the Russians, they are very, very patient. They got a lot of land and a lot of time, and Russia just basically wears the enemy down. And then they come in for victory. I mean, you look at World War II, look how far the Russians got the Germans got into Russia, and then the Russians were the first one in Berlin in 1945. So, and when I was a kid growing up, the days of the Soviet Union, not only was the Soviet Union the largest country in the world, I think a lot of people don't, you probably know this because, you were in that era too. The Soviet Union had 1/3 of the Earth's land was the Soviet Union. 1/3 of the land on the planet Earth was, and Putin wants as much of that back as he can get.
Your question: do you believe this is a fact? If they hadn't given up the nuclear weapons and they kept them, do you think this war would have ever started? I don't.
Probably not.
No, it was our fault.
Yes. Well, Obama's fault.
Blame us. Obama, not Zelensky. Zelensky is a victim of.
And I want to remind you, have any of you ever gotten a passport? You have a passport, Richie? I know you have a passport because you've traveled. Do you understand that if you hold a U.S. passport, you had to produce more documentation to get that passport so you could go on your cruise with us, okay, than Obama had to produce to get the nuclear football and the presidency? I want you to understand that. Okay, you might say, well, he showed his birth certificate. Yeah, years later, yeah, come on.
I'm going to give you something. I'm going to let you go, but can I say one quick thing? Go on to Zerani, the mayor of New York is taking over.
Yes.
It's a beautiful show for you. Go find out who he assigned the new fire department chief.
Listen, okay, I know. Here's the thing, okay, about the lesbian. I know all about the lesbian. Right? Okay, she's a paramedic. Now, I don't know how it works in New York, but well, hold on. Paramedics, at least here, are firefighter paramedics. Okay, but here's the thing. I'm going to get no doubt she's out of shape, but I just want to give everybody some advice, okay? Mamdani is going to appoint radical lunatics, okay? Don't spend your capital attacking him because he appointed a lesbian paramedic. That's the least of the controversies. And if you make a big deal over the lesbian paramedic when he appoints somebody that's connected to the terrorist or something, you lose your juice. You got to save it. I mean, my goodness. All right, take care, Richie. We'll talk soon. All right, we'll take our last break of the first hour and be right back. You guys understand what I mean by that? You can't make a big deal because,
America, and I have high cholesterol. I mean really high cholesterol. It's almost 300. There hasn't been a day that's gone by that I haven't worried about having a heart attack for years. Until I went over to Life Imaging FLA. They scanned my heart, and guess what? All my arteries are completely clear. No plaque buildup, no blockage, nothing. Their CT scans can not only detect heart disease, but cancer and over 100 illnesses with up to 98% accuracy before symptoms even appear. The scan's easy too. There's no dyes, you don't have to get undressed or wear a hospital gown, and it takes just a few short minutes. Call Life Imaging FLA for your free heart scan right now with just a few minimum requirements valued at $699. From your cell, call pound 250 and say free heart scan. That's pound 250 and say free heart scan, and you'll be connected in seconds. Make sure to ask about their cancer screening and virtual colonography. Life Imaging FLA is saving lives every day with their FDA-approved state-of-the-art low-dose CT scanner. What are you waiting for? Call right now and get the peace of mind that I have. Pound 250 and say free heart scan.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and delicious, crispy on the outside, succulent on the inside, everything homemade, nothing comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Sample Road.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Sandra. I'm calling from Delray Beach. The Barry Siegel Law Group did such wonderful work for me, and I was very particular. I'm a professional myself, and I went to about 3 or 4 attorneys prior. They wanted to do what they wanted to do. They didn't want to add anything extra, but Barry tailored it to my needs. It's not only the trust. There's so many other end-of-life documents, the living will, the will, and I tailored each one of them to my liking, and they were wonderful and always, always polite. Never showed any aggravation, or because I contacted them many times. Always polite. And not only that, when you finish your documents and you leave this world, your beneficiaries can go there and they'll explain everything to them, which is a big deal because a lot of these beneficiaries or heirs, they're not cognizant of what to do. I just wanted to let you know that the Siegel Group is above and beyond any other attorney that I have ever contacted. Plus, they give you a big portfolio at the end with a leather-bound documents. It's beautiful.
Give the Siegel Law Group a call, 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782, and online at SiegelLawGroup.com.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on.
All right, we're back. Call us on hold, stand by. Yeah, this thing about the lesbian paramedic, I understand she's not a firefighter, paramedic. I don't know if they're firefighter paramedics in New York City. I don't know. But I know this, that he is going to appoint some of the biggest radical lunatics that have very questionable backgrounds and connections. If you all go after because he picked a gay woman, right, you will lose credibility with the other side when and people will tune it out when he picks very controversial Islamic people or people that support criminals that have done violence. So just calm down about the lesbian. She'll blow it on her own because she doesn't know what she's doing. There's a big difference between look at Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. They've been on the air blapping their we're going to take the FBI and we're going to get to it and we're going to get the files and what's happened? Jack. Okay? So when a lot of times when people are activists, they run their mouth and then they're in charge of something and it's a disaster. So, just wait. I'll go after these people he picks, but I'm going to wait till he picks somebody a little more controversial. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? There we go. All right. Oh, boy. I tell you. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Yeah, lovely people we have out there. The number is 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on with Tim Walz and in Minnesota. Now, in the next hour, I'm going to play some of the audio sound bites from Nick Shirley, which will blow your mind, okay, what Nick Shirley did. But what Nick Shirley uncovered was not just financial fraud in the Somali community. He uncovered massive financial fraud that's taking place with the child care and Medicaid in particular, all right? And it's worse than we've ever known. And what Nick Shirley did with his reporting that he dropped on Friday, what made it so amazing was that he got in there on the ground floor with his reporting. And what I mean by that is he caught him off guard, and they really weren't expecting him to come in like he did. And he was able to show us a lot of things. If you were to go back next week, it's going to be a little more difficult because they're going to close ranks and no one's going to answer doors and you're not going to, get the answers. So Nick Shirley's reporting that he dropped on Friday is some of the most, arguably, the biggest investigative news report that's happened in my lifetime. There's been big news events. It's bigger than even James O'Keefe with Acorn. Because, and I'll tell you why, although James O'Keefe's Acorn reporting is the second, it wasn't risky because they didn't know anything was coming. And what I mean by that is there's been a lot of reporting on the fraud in Minnesota. And on top of that, not only the fraud in Minnesota, but these are dangerous people, the Somalians. They're very tribal. They come from a country that it's not even an anarchy, right? Like Haiti's been in anarchy for a long time, especially since the earthquake in 2010. But what Somalia is it's like prehistoric times is what it is. It's like it's an area. It's a country. It has some borders, but the border really is like a fence. Don't go in there. It's like it's an uncivilized place filled with people living like in prehistoric times. That's it. I mean, And when you look at the fraud that's going on in Minnesota, I'm not even upset with the Somalians, and a lot of you might think that's crazy. This is a Democrat thing. When you have people that come from a prehistoric kind of place like this, that are this primitive, they did not go there and put together the largest financial criminal organization ever put in place. They didn't do that. That's not what happened here. Okay? This is the Democrats. And if you remember, let me pull this up. Okay? What was her name? Let me pull this up. Melissa Hortman. Okay? Melissa Hortman, who was murdered by that Democrat wearing the mask. Remember what Melissa Hortman did? She was the only Democrat in the Minnesota legislature to cross the aisle and vote with Republicans to cut off the Medicaid funding for the illegals. Remember that? In Minnesota. And then she got killed. She was assassinated. And what Nick Shirley showed with his reporting that came out Friday, and this is what's been talked about, from Treasury and FBI and Justice. The main thing that's going on in Minnesota with the Somalis, it's Medicaid fraud. There's a lot of financial fraud from the government, but it's mainly Medicaid fraud. So I'm not the first one to ask this question. I mean, it's so obvious even over Christmas weekend, people are asking it. Was Melissa Hortman assassinated because she voted to cut the Medicaid funding? Right? Here she is talking about it. Let me pull it up. Right after the vote.
I know that people will be hurt by that vote, and we worked very hard to try to get a budget deal that wouldn't include that provision.
DFL Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman emotional following the House's adjournment from a special session Monday. Hortman was the lone DFL lawmaker to cast a vote to cut Minnesota Care access for undocumented immigrants. It's a move she made with a heavy heart.
I did what leaders do. I stepped up and I got the job done for the people of Minnesota.
The bill was deeply unpopular with members of the DFL caucus. Members have repeatedly expressed frustration that the bill was part of a compromise, one that would ensure the necessary GOP votes to pass the rest of the state budget.
We are tremendously disappointed and gut-wrenched at this decision, at this compromise that compromises our communities that are most vulnerable.
Hortman knows she let down her own caucus members with the vote.
They're right to be mad at me. I think some of them are pretty angry. I think that their job was to make folks who voted for that bill feel like crap, and I think that they succeeded.
Okay, and then, she was assassinated, of course.
Senate, a similar situation unfolded. Senate Majority Leader Erin Murphy forced to vote for a bill she too disagreed with to uphold the integrity of their compromise.
Okay. So people are looking into that and asking that question, and I'm here to tell you that it's entirely possible that that entire killing spree, that the motivation was the Medicaid. And have you seen the stories over the weekend that Ilhan Omar's husband is doing the 21st century equivalent of putting everything in the shredding machine? He's purging the website of all kinds of information of his company, his fake venture capitalist firm. Remember when, Ilhan Omar just didn't go from $75,000 net worth to $30 million. I assume that when she married her husband, it was he was a rich guy. He was not a rich man. He made his millions after he married her. And now he's purging his company's website of information. That means that Ilhan Omar and her husband are afraid the feds are coming in. Okay? And I would not be surprised if one morning you wake up and you see the news that Ilhan Omar has fled the country. I would not be surprised. Would you? I wonder, that $30 million, where's it at? Is it in U.S. banks? Is it overseas? I don't know. But I would not be surprised at all. Now, if you or a loved one suffer from neuropathy, stop your suffering. Call Lighthouse Medical. Lighthouse Medical has a treatment for neuropathy that works and lasts. Steve Kane had his neuropathy treatment 3.5 years ago, and it has not returned. All the symptoms are gone, the numbness, the pain, the burning, the tinglings in the hands and feet, the dizziness, the feeling of pins and needles in the hands and feet, no feeling at all, falling down all the time, all that stuff, it's gone, and it hasn't returned 3.5 years later. Lighthouse Medical can help rid you of your neuropathy too, no matter where you are located. Give them a call. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show so you can take advantage of the no-charge consultation. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. My name is Brian Craig. We'll take our break for the top of the hour. Our number to call in, if you're on hold, stand by, is 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be back right after our top of the hour break.
WQAM 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WFLM 104.7 HD3 Palm Beach Shores, and heard in Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM, and in Martin County on 106.9 FM. We are South Florida's home for the true oldies channel. From the All-Year Cooling Weather Center, South Florida's #1 choice for same-day AC service and installation. Here's your oldies forecast.
Partly cloudy and cool this morning with temperatures in
Sunshine and warm this afternoon, highs in the low to mid 80s. For tonight, low again in the 60s. For tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, high of 68. The low to mid tonight, 55.
Weather brought to you by All Year Cooling. Enjoy free AC replacement estimates along with same-day service and installation. Visit allyearcooling.com to schedule your service today. And remember, the All Year family is here to serve your family all year long.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club. On the Turnpike southbound approaching Boynton Beach Boulevard, watch for a broken down vehicle. On Congress Avenue at Executive Center Drive, there's a crash. Spot something on the roads, call the traffic tip line. Pound 250 keyword West Palm traffic. I'm Ron Hersey.
That's your traffic brought to you by PBKC. It's a new year with new wins this January in the poker room at PBKC. Hands hit every 15 minutes every day. Plus special progressive high hands on the weekends and a $15,000 cash drawing. Take your shot in thrilling daily tournaments or jump into exciting table games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em and 3-card poker with just a $5 minimum. Get all the details at pbkennelclub.com and Happy New Year from PBKC.
Brian Craig here. When it comes time to get my blood work done, I don't have time to spend hours in the doctor's office or waiting hours in one of those big labs. That's why I go to any lab test now in Boca and any lab test now in Coral Springs for all of my lab work. Their techs are highly skilled and professional, and their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest on lab work you'll find anywhere. Appointments aren't necessary. Doctor's orders and prescriptions, they're not needed either. I'm in and out in 15 minutes or less. I get the results the next day in my email box, and they also send it to my doctor. There's lots of any lab test nows around, but these are the only two advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to any lab test now in Boca and any lab test now in Coral Springs. Any lab test now in Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, between Palmetto Park Road and Hillsborough Boulevard on the east side of State Road 7, 441. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. Call any lab test now of Boca at 561-237-5009. Any lab test now of Coral Springs number is 954-906-5983. And don't forget to mention that you heard about them on the radio.
Tom Laporta here from Laporta Roofing. Homeowners, condo associations, and HOA communities are being threatened by their insurance companies to replace their roofs or lose coverage. We perform a full evaluation of your roofs, test the conditions of the materials, suggest repairs, set maintenance schedules, and write letters to your insurance companies. We are also state of Florida general contractors, which carry a lot of weight when dealing with insurance companies. We recently had a property management company call us to evaluate 2 multi-story condo buildings. Each were in aging condition. We performed a full evaluation, built a case with focused repairs and maintenance that the roofs had up to 5 years left. The insurance companies granted the associations additional time. Homeowners, condo, and HOA associations, give me a call at 954-604-4602 to set up an evaluation so we can help you with your insurance company. That number again is 954-604-4602 or find us at laportaroofing.com.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers, whatever car or truck you have, I get you incredible deals at any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All righty, we are back. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? I can. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
And I'm calling from the end of the world. I'm in Antarctica on a cruise.
Oh my goodness. This is my first call from Antarctica. So finally, the 7th continent has called me.
Exactly. We got a beautiful day. We're in a place called Charlotte Bay, and we're on a 22-day cruise from Buenos Aires to San Antonio, Chile.
Wow. Wow. It's got to be cold.
Oh, we're in the bay and we're circling. The captain's rotating the ship around and it's like still water. It's like a lake.
Really? In Antarctica? It's not rough seas in Antarctica?
not. We've had some really great weather, and then in a day or so we go across the Drake Passage back into Argentina.
Well, let me tell you. I got to tell you, I've gotten calls from all over the world over the years. I don't even think Rush Limbaugh or Larry King ever got a call from Antarctica before. I don't think they have. I'm serious.
To call you. That's why I wanted to call you. Big MAGA fans, me and my wife Karan, and we live in the villages, and we're having the time of our life.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Well, yeah, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt your praise.
Show.
Well, thank you.
We listen to you every morning. We love your show.
Well, thank you very much. You know, maybe you could plant a MAGA flag on the continent of Antarctica. That'd be pretty cool.
I wish I would have brought one.
Oh, no. Next time.
I wish I would have. I was just on the deck up there, on the bow, and we've got like about 98 Chinese people on board.
Oh.
They've got a Chinese flag up there, and they're all taking pictures and everything.
Oh my goodness.
It's amazing. I mean, just amazing.
Do you have a MAGA hat at all? Do you have a MAGA hat?
I had to pack so tight for this trip. I wish I would have brought one, but.
Oh, I always bring a MAGA. On the last cruise we did, I brought 10 MAGA hats. So I wouldn't be in the same hat in every picture, you know. I brought a whole, maybe I overdid it a little bit, but, you know. It's too bad, because I was going to tell you to put your MAGA hat on and go up to those CCP people and let them know, you know.
I know.
I know, I should. I wish I would have had one. But
we will bring one next
we've had snow, you know, the other day it was snowing, you know, outside on the ship, and amazing, just amazing. The weather, the penguins all over the place, and seen a lot of whales and stuff like that.
Well, that's cool. Well, listen, appreciate it and have a great time.
Okay.
Okay. I love your insightfulness. You're right on the spot.
All right, take care. All right, good to talk to you. Oh, wow, call from Antarctica. I think we might have made history with that one. All right, let's go. I've gotten calls from weird places, not just around the world, but I've gotten called. When we were on WFTL, they clamped down on this. This was a long time ago. We used to get calls from the jail. There was from the Broward County Detention Center. There was we got a call from a serial killer once, a real serial killer. I cannot remember his name. Steve was trying to work out some art thing probably with him, but the serial killer called, and that was a pretty big deal. He got hung up on by mistake, and he called back, and he was pissed, and he was yelling at me. He's a serial killer. I used to get a call regularly from these guys on a Coast Guard cutter off the coast of Fort Lauderdale. They'd be out in the ocean calling me. But Antarctica, and all over the world you hear calls all the time, but not Antarctica. That's a new one. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
Wow, I was just that's pretty funny. A serial killer calling, man.
Yeah, I wish I could remember his name. He was in the Broward County Jail, awaiting a trial. And I cannot. It's been a long time. I can't remember his name. And let me tell you, he was very nice when he was on the air, but when he got disconnected, we got to see what his victims saw. It was scary.
Man, I just don't want to talk to anybody like that.
Yeah.
The main thing is first, when I first heard Russia invaded Ukraine, I said, when they took Crimea, way back when, I said, well, it was their property before, what the hell, how are you going to go against Russia? And then it escalated here now to what we have. And the whole time I've been saying, how the hell can you possibly fight Russia? Russia's so much of a powerful country. This is a little tiny country. It used to be theirs. They should have realized that it was a hopeless waste of life to go against Russia. It's only going to wind up being Russia again with some areas.
Well, see, what I was talking about in the first hour, and I was serious about this. I wasn't kidding. And, the president and the team are at Mar-a-Lago. Maybe someone's listening from Mar-a-Lago today. So I'm going to restate it because I think it's very important. President Trump at Mar-a-Lago yesterday pointed out that Zelensky was there with one of his, if not his top general, the guy he said, your general looks right out of Central Casting. maybe that guy is who Trump needs to negotiate with. And I would be shocked if Marco Rubio and JD and maybe Hegseth or, I don't know, CIA. I would be shocked if Marco Rubio or Pete Hegseth, because he's got the military connection, and approach that guy and started making a connection. Because the president didn't seem to have seen him before, because he said, oh, the general looks right out, like he was new to him. And that guy is probably more interested in stopping the loss of life that's happening at 25,000 people a week in the war than Zelensky is. And I think they should quite possibly bypass Zelensky and start talking to that general.
That would be a good idea, because certainly Zelensky doesn't seem to want to end this. I don't know how much he's stealing, but I would bet I'd like to see his bank account in Belize or wherever he's hiding his money. But because something's not right. He keeps getting all his money, and the other one seems to want to end the war. And as far as I'm concerned, it should have been over a long time ago. But anyway, the other thing I was going to mention is I certainly agree. Omar, I'm waiting to see that she disappeared because...
Flees the country, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure her people must be telling the same thing. You better get out now while you're getting as good, because anybody who steals $9 billion is part of it and made three, what is it, 30 million?
Well, and her husband's been purging the website, his fake venture capital firm's website of all kinds of information, which means he feels the feds are coming. And that's a real desperate move, because nothing is ever removed from the internet. We all know that, right?
That's for sure.
So he's the Omars are running scared.
I hope so, because they certainly deserve to be for what they've done.
Absolutely.
I'm so sick of hearing every damn day, $9 billion over here, $100 million in Medicaid fraud. Every day we're being robbed.
By the way, have you given any thought to what I told you last week about taking that Frank Sinatra steering wheel and have it mounted in some special type of frame? That's worth a lot of money.
You're right. I went looking for it. I don't know what the hell I do with it. Hope I didn't throw it away. I can't remember.
What the, if you were anyone else, I tell you, Steve called me on the air last week, and he didn't believe you. And the reason is Steve's is a collector, and the way you're talking so crazy. If you were anyone else, I wouldn't believe you, right? Like if you're just but I know you, and you're telling the truth. I mean, why would you even? Oh my gosh, Frank Sinatra's steering wheel. You could take Frank Sinatra's steering wheel with that document you have, put it in one of the biggest auctions, make enough money to retire off of. It's that valuable.
You're really making me sick. If that's the case, man, I've done some really dumb things in my life, but that's one of them. Man, oh man, I'm going to go looking for it heavily today, try to find this damn wheel. I took it off. I said, let me save it. But I wasn't even thinking about Frank Sinatra. I was just thinking that I'm redoing the car. And everything.
For people that are wondering, because last week was Christmas, you may have missed it. Conservative Doug owns a car that was once owned by Mr. Frank Sinatra himself. And what he did to this car, I just can't get over it, what you did to that car. Could you imagine? Do you know how much they would love to have that car parked in front of the Fontainebleau in Miami? They would, the Fontainebleau, that steering wheel could be worth $1 million.
Jesus, if it is, I'm going to shoot myself.
No, don't do that, Doug. All right, take care. Take care, Doug. Oh, my goodness. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once. Yeah.
From Delaware?
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk about raping your daughter.
Okay, there you go. Oh, boy. Yeah. New Year's week. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Scott on the radio, reminding you that your favorite oldies are back on the air right after 10 a.m. this morning, right here on the True Oldies channel.
This season, the only chill you need is the ocean breeze. Margaritaville at Sea is going big with buy one, get one cruise fares, kids sail free, and free stateroom upgrades. It's time to set sail, kick back with live island music, savor the best cheeseburgers in paradise, and cruise into Caribbean destinations and bucket list adventures, all at the best rates of the season. But hurry, these savings won't stick around. Book your season savings today at margaritavilleatsea.com. Brian here. I'm in studio with Joe Thomas. Joe, you were telling me about bonus annuities. What's a bonus annuity and how do they work?
So it's an annuity that gives you an upfront amount of money. For every dollar you put in, they're going to bonus you, say, 10% upfront. And that money is given to you instantly, put into your account, and put there for a later day when you want income or you want to take interest out.
So if I put $50,000 into an annuity, I'm going to make $5,000 before I leave your office?
Exactly. Now, it comes with conditions, right? You have to keep the annuity in place for a certain amount of years. You have to take income, or you have to take interest out at some point in the future. We explain all that in detail when you sit down with us.
That sounds amazing. 10% on your money before you even get back in your car. Give Joe Thomas a call. It's a no-charge consultation. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And online, JupiterJoe.com.
If you're dreaming of that perfect Caribbean cruise, nothing comes close to Celebrity Beyond, sailing year-round from Miami to the Caribbean, including our 10th annual cruise in March. Every cruise on Celebrity Beyond is unforgettable. Every detail is taken care of, and you'll enjoy all-inclusive fares, world-class restaurants, and top-quality beverages that redefine indulgence. Relax in the retreat, your own private resort within a resort, or unwind on the retreat sun deck with panoramic ocean views. You can pamper yourself in Aqua Class, where 5-star spa experiences will melt your stress away. From the lively martini bar to the breathtaking sunset bar, every space on board Celebrity Beyond is designed to inspire and delight, all backed by Celebrity's unmatched service. Call Cruise and Travel Depot today at 561-244-5779. That's 561-244-5779 to book all your celebrity vacations, because when it comes to luxury at sea, on board Celebrity Beyond, nothing comes close. When it comes to dental work, there's no one better than Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. But don't just take my word for it. This is Richie the bus driver. He called in on the air to share his
Well, then don't watch.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling?
You're not required to watch. Right, we'll be back right after this.
Listen to Richie the bus driver. Go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. 954-922-4633.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 101.9 FM, Harrison Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian, Steve Kane Show. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Make this the year that you keep your New Year's resolution to lose weight. I first met with Coastal Weight Loss Secret last January, and I've lost over 35 pounds. I have not gained an ounce. I'd mentioned today, I grabbed a pair of pants in the dark today, and these are very old jeans. I don't even know what they're still doing in the house. They got holes in them, but I don't care. It's the radio. Who cares? Well, these are jeans that used to fit me before I lost all this weight, and they are literally falling off my body. They're like clown pants. And I put another hole in my belt to try to keep them on, and I didn't put the hole far enough into the belt, so I'm kind of been holding them up with my hands during the show. It's absolutely amazing. And let me tell you, over Christmas, I got together with people I haven't seen in a while in the family, and all complimenting me. Half say I look younger. The other half are telling me I lost a lot of weight from last Christmas. Yeah, that's right. And I haven't gained any of the weight back even over Thanksgiving and Christmas. Call Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Remember, they can help you no matter where you're located to lose that weight. Schedule your no-charge consultation. 561 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Alaska.
All right. Okay, there we go. Wow. Wow. Would you consider that a threat? The beginning of one? No, I don't know. Boy, oh boy, what's going on? I don't know. Well, holiday time, people start to lose. All right, now before I get back into the issues, because I got to get into this Minnesota murder mystery with the Democrats, and I am well leaning into well over 50% chance that the Hortman murder and those other murders had to do with the Medicaid scam going on up there. Would you guys agree with that? Before I get back into that, though, and I want to play some of what Nick Shirley did, which was just insanely amazing. I mean, this guy should win every Pulitzer Prize there is out there. I mean, he's so amazing. But I got to talk about these Meta glasses. And my wife is very good at buying presents. She always knows exactly what to get. Every gift she gets is perfect. And I'm terrible at it. I never know what to buy people, And my wife got me 2 things for Christmas. And the first is she got me the Trump watch. That you hear the commercials with President Trump? My wife got me a Trump watch. And with President Trump, he says, people will know what it is and what it represents. She got me the Trump watch. And I mean, it's amazing. And I love it. But she got me these Meta glasses. And I told her I needed a new pair of Ray-Bans because my Ray-Bans are all scratched up and everything else. And she said, okay. She said, what do you want? I said, Ray-Bans. And I'm opening a present. She got me the Meta Ray-Ban glasses. And I wasn't too sure why she did that, And I really didn't use them until yesterday. I tried them on a little bit, tried a couple things, but I really didn't use them until yesterday. And I was kind of like, Meta glasses have been around for a while, okay? They're not brand new. But I was kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't say hostile to Meta glasses, but I wasn't interested in Meta glasses because I can't stand Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg is a weirdo, he's a tyrant, he's a complete freak, and I don't like anything to do with Zuckerberg. And Meta is behind these. Boy, was I wrong about these Meta glasses. I've never experienced anything like this. The technology is so advanced. This is the most advanced advancement in a gadget that I've experienced since TiVo. Now, I know today that you think DVRs are no big deal, okay? But I got a TiVo, which was before you had DVRs with your cable company and stuff. I got a TiVo when they first came out. And I remember the idea that you could pause live television was insane. It was crazy that you could watch something while you were recording another program. That's how long ago it was, right? I could watch this show, but record something else at the same time. What? But then not only could you pause live television, you could rewind live TV. And I thought, this is nuts. And I made this comment in the last hour. My grandparents, I remember when I got the TiVo and I could pause and rewind live TV. I know that sounds like no big deal now, but when it was new, it was freaking everybody out. And I know it just kind of shows you getting old, right? But I remember telling my wife when we got the TiVo and I'm pausing live TV and rewinding live TV, I said, if my grandparents were alive, they wouldn't even understand this, right? And I was watching this thing about time travel over the weekend. And they were asking people, if you could travel through time, would you travel to the past or travel to the future? And people were saying, I'd go to the future because I want to see what happens. And I would not go to the future because if you went to the future, what I've learned with these Meta glasses is that you wouldn't understand the future. Things would change and be so advanced you wouldn't even understand what was going on. You want to go to the past. And these meta glasses, the technology, it has a translator in it where it translates in real time to you someone speaking to you in foreign languages. It blew my mind, and I'm like, come on. And I turned it on, and I'm watching Telemundo and Univision yesterday morning. It was really early. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what? I was out yesterday. It can identify things. As an example, I'm out yesterday. I look at this tree, and I ask it to tell me what kind of tree this is that I'm looking at, and the glasses told me instantly. And then I'm like, this is crazy. I was in a parking lot, and I started looking at cars and asked it to tell me what kind of car it was. And it told me, make and model, right? And I was talking earlier, I was at Pollo Tropical, and some of the menus in Spanish, I got the Spanish menu and told it to translate the Spanish menu, to translate the menu. It told me what the menu said in English instantly. And I don't even know how to use these things yet, right? I mean, I haven't even scratched the surface of what they can do. And it's got another feature. You can isolate a conversation you're having with someone, right? So if you're like at a party or a club and you can't hear, you can have it isolate the conversation so you can hear the person you're talking to, even in a crowded mall or auditorium or a theater or a nightclub. Yesterday, I was driving on my MAGA scooter, my Vespa, because you can use it as a phone too, right? And I'm talking to my wife while I'm going down the road at about 60, 65 miles an hour. Not only could she hear me perfectly, she couldn't even hardly hear the wind, and I could hear her perfectly, and we had a conversation while I'm going over 60 miles an hour on the road on my Vespa. And I'm like, this is nuts. And I like gadgets, okay? I'm not a big collector of things, and I don't get everything, but there's a lot of things I like, and I like technology. So I have not had, the Meta glasses are a bigger advancement than even the iPhone, so far as a gadget. And the thing about TiVo, I know that may not be the best example because people don't understand, but when the idea, when that came out, that you could pause and rewind live television, it sounds stupid because you don't know a world without it, Mike, right? But the idea that you could pause and rewind live television was insane at the time. I remember when I got excited and I got a VCR that had 4 heads on it so I could get a higher quality recording on my VHS machine at home, okay? But the Meta glasses, the reason that everyone is not wearing them is because everybody hates Zuckerberg. And he's so weird, and he's a tyrant, and he's a freak. He looks like Odo from Star Trek Deep Space Nine and all that. If they had somebody else that was the face of the Meta glasses, everybody would have them. And like I said, these are things, I don't even know how to use them yet, and the things I told you that I've used them for, it's just blowing my mind. Well, anyway, let's take our break for the bottom of the hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. Does anyone have the? It's crazy. They don't just come in Ray-Bans. No, this is not a spot, although they should be. They should be advertising on the radio station because they will not find a better spot. I don't think Zuckerberg would want to support me, but they should, because no one would be a better spokesperson for the Meta glasses than me. Not only do they take pictures, you can you can record video as well. It's pretty. It just blows me away. Now I know some of you that are younger than me may think, well, Ryan, you old fogey, but no, it's the Meta glasses, so far as gadgets are concerned, like everyday tech gadgets that people have, is probably the biggest leap It's at least TiVo, but maybe even before. All right. If you're on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. We'll be right back.
The second the commercial break hits, you gotta get up and go do what you need to do before, you know, the show or movie comes back.
Yeah.
And then the transition into now you can pause it or rewind it.
Yeah.
I was like just
Yeah.
between both happening.
Yeah. I know, they're nuts. I mean, I can't believe it.
Crazy. I always see people like influencers, but like people that make memes or videos, like stupid videos on Instagram with the meta glasses.
Yeah.
And, like they do like magic tricks, like they do girls. Like it's so funny. Like they just go on like just do like fun things, and some people know it's like you're recording. Like what? No, like you know.
Oh, you should get them. You can get prescription lenses put in.
Yeah, I when you said that, I was thinking, I was like, it kind of sounds fun to be honest.
It is. It's amazing. I mean, and I don't even know how to use them yet, really. You know,
I don't have a blast with it.
Yeah.
Especially with the translation thing. That'd be pretty cool.
It only does right now, like some of the common ones, like Spanish, French, Italian, but they'll add more. Yeah, that's kind of new.
I mean, we are in Florida, so it's like the basic.
Yeah,
things we
Spanish.
have to learn.
Exactly.
Honestly, I'm gonna look into it because it does sound fun.
It's crazy.
Technology stuff. A Victorian child would like have a heart attack.
Oh, they would witchcraft. I mean, like that one plugin I have on Adobe that takes out all the room noise. That's crazy to me.
Now just having it on the glasses, this is crazy. Like 20 years ago, you would have thought like that kind of thing would ever happen. Like you'd see that in movies and like futuristic movies, but like
exactly.
Iron Man in a suit, just glasses. That's crazy,
Group a call, 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782, and online SiegelLawGroup.com.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 49 years on the air.
All right. We're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. All right, I'll get back into the politics, but I'm going to do with the meta glasses, now that they, it can translate in real time other languages people are speaking, but only you can hear it, right? The people around you can't hear the translation being given to you with the glasses on. So now, I can know what they're really saying about me. Like if I go to Little Havana and the little gringo comes in, I'll know what they're really saying. That's right. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. So I want to get back to this story in Minnesota and Nick Shirley. Nick Shirley, who's done some reporting on Antifa. He was at that big White House meeting with the conservative influencers a month or two ago that the president had. Remember that? And the first time I heard of Nick Shirley was not that long ago, 6 months, maybe less. He did a report. He's a young guy in his 20s. He went to that prison in El Salvador and showed what it was really like, which is pretty nice. And of course, I've been following him ever since that. But he's been around for a while. But he went to Minnesota, and maybe coming up in a little bit, I'll play some of it. I'm not going to play it right now, but maybe I'll play some of it coming up. He met up with a guy in Minnesota who's been investigating Medicaid fraud in Minnesota for years. And he's got some contacts, secret sources inside the state government that give him a listing of all the people that are getting Medicaid funding. So what Nick Shirley did with, by the way, bodyguards, okay, he went with this guy to child care facilities that are owned by Somalians in whatever the Somali neighborhood is in Minneapolis. And they're all getting millions, sometimes tens of millions of dollars in federal aid, Medicaid aid for child care. But you know what they don't have at these child care facilities? Do you know what they didn't find? One child. There's no child. It's just a building that says a child care center, and there's no kids inside. He found out some, also uncovered some that involved Medicaid transportation fund. You know, Medicaid pays for transportation for low-income people to go to and from the doctors and stuff like this. And they have all these transportation companies that don't transport people. The vans, the vehicles just sit rotting in snow-filled parking lots. They saw some of them driving around with no passengers in them. There's a lot of it that goes through healthcare companies. He went to these office buildings. Some of them have dozens of healthcare companies in them, all receiving millions of dollars a year in Medicaid funding. These are all Somali businesses in Minnesota, but they're not doing any healthcare business. And in just an afternoon of reporting, he found over $100 million in fraud. He put this up on YouTube on Friday. It's gone viral on all social media platforms. Over 100 million people viewed it as of yesterday, and that's a holiday weekend when a lot of people aren't following the news. It was the most shocking, risky investigative reporting I have ever seen, okay? I've never seen anything like it. From Geraldo Rivera and Willowbrook all the way up today and everything in between, there's never been anything like this. It's gotten really no coverage. He was interviewed on Fox yesterday, finally, but it hasn't even been mentioned anywhere else. And it may not be. But I got to tell you this, a couple of things. President Trump has deployed a whole bunch more ICE agents to Minnesota. There's a lot of work going. The FBI's been deployed there. I'm hoping that, you know, Kash Patel can finally make some arrest with this. Tim Walz is on the run. Ilhan Omar's husband is purging his venture capital website of information because he's expecting, obviously, the feds to break down the door at any moment. It's a big story. I was talking earlier that the assassination of Melissa Hortman and these other Democrats, and again, I'm not the only one talking about this. Others covering this over the weekend have mentioned this. It's obvious that Melissa Hortman and the other Democrats in Minnesota who were assassinated by that lunatic Democrat in the mask, that those assassinations very well may have had to do with this Medicaid fraud in Minnesota. In particular, Melissa Hortman, who was the one Democrat to vote against the funding of Medicaid for illegals in Minnesota. Tim Walz looks scared, even though he spoke out on it yesterday, claims that he's getting to the bottom of corruption when he's really at the top of the corruption. And next month, which is just a couple of days away, begins the midterm election season, right? And I'm here to tell you that this Minnesota Democrat Somalian fraud operation could very well be the main issue in the midterm elections. And President Trump is all over it. They have that Tim Walz bill in Congress. The Treasury Secretary is all over this. The president has Dr. Oz all over this because it involves Medicaid, right? There's a lot of funding, so Treasury is involved and the Justice Department are involved. And I suspect, because the president knows Nick Shirley, that Nick Shirley, who he went there with professional mercenary-like bodyguards, okay, with him. He had a couple of bodyguards with him that were professional. He talked about them in his reporting and the company they were with. Nick Shirley, I'm guessing, was connected to this whistleblower in Minnesota that he went door to door with, probably through the Trump administration somewhere. So the president is all over what's going on in Minnesota. And Tim Walz, I believe right now, there's probably a 70 to 80% likelihood of Tim Walz being arrested. There's about a 50% chance that we'll wake up one day and find out that Ilhan Omar has fled the country. It's really bad. The Nick Shirley, I'm going to play, if I have time, I'm going to play some of the Nick Shirley reporting on the program today. And if you've not heard it, but over 100 million have already seen it. Already. Think about that. On a holiday weekend, Christmas weekend, there were so few cars on the road on 95 this morning when I came to the radio, I couldn't believe it. Because a lot of people are off work still, right? This is a holiday week, and still that many people saw it. This is a major story. And you know what I'm also starting to think is, not only is this Melissa Hortman murder in Minnesota probably connected to the Medicaid fraud in Minnesota, no doubt about it, but I'm also thinking that the Medicaid fraud is why they picked Tim Walz to run with Kamala Harris. I'm wondering, why did they pick this guy? Never heard of him before. You know, why did they pick him to run with Kamala Harris? And when the campaign was going on, I had no idea. We didn't know about this. So I thought, I don't know, maybe they thought white guys would relate to him or nobody else wanted the job. Now I'm starting to think that they brought him in so that he could bring to the national level what he's done in Minnesota. I think he was brought in to be Kamala Harris's running mate, Tim Walz, as a reward for the great work he did in Minnesota with this Somalian Medicaid fraud, and they wanted him to open this up to all 50 states. I'm not kidding. Our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. Do you suffer from neuropathy? Then call Lighthouse Medical. You know, Lighthouse Medical can help you no matter where you are located. They can treat you over the phone, through telemedicine, through Zoom. If you're local, of course, you could go into their location in Pompano. Steve had the worst neuropathy you could imagine. I found Lighthouse Medical not as a sponsor, but to get Steve out of bed. He was suffering from neuropathy. We had a cruise coming up. And he's like, I can't get out of bed. I don't know how I'm going to go. His doctor and his specialist, neurologist, said there's no treatment for neuropathy. I found Lighthouse Medical just so Steve could get rid of his suffering. I had no idea they would end up. We were doing spots for them the day after his first treatment because he saw relief immediately. And 3.5 years later, his neuropathy symptoms have not returned. Give them a call or call for a loved one. Schedule your no-charge consultation. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. We'll be right back.
Hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Hi, I'm Smith with All Year. Do you have a faucet that continues to drip and drip? Trust All Year for same-day service 24/7. Call us today at 833 All Year.
Right now at All Year Cooling, enjoy free service calls. You can save up to
Brian here. You know that heart disease is the #1 killer in America? And I have high cholesterol. I mean really high cholesterol. It's almost 300. There hasn't been a day that's gone by that I haven't worried about having a heart attack for years. Until I went over to Life Imaging LA. They scanned my heart, and guess what? All the arteries are completely clear. No plaque buildup, no blockage, nothing. Their CT scans can not only detect heart disease, but over 100 illnesses with up to 98% accuracy before symptoms
Mm-hmm.
appear. The scan's easy too. There's no dyes, you don't have to get undressed or wear a hospital gown, and it takes just a few short minutes. Call Life Imaging FLA for your free heart scan right now. With just a few minimum requirements. Valued at $699. From your cell, call pound 250 and say free heart scan. That's pound 250 and say free heart scan, and you'll be connected in seconds. Make sure to ask about their cancer screening and virtual colonography. Life Imaging FLA is saving lives every day with their FDA-approved state-of-the-art low-dose CT scanner. What are you waiting for? Call right now and get the peace of mind that I have. Pound 250 and say free heart scan.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching, have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6642.
On the line, we have Gina. She's a client of Junior Joe Thomas. Gina, how you doing? I'm doing great. How are you, Brian? I'm doing great, thanks. So you went and met with Joe Thomas about annuities. Can you tell me about your experience? I can't say enough good things about my experience with Joe Thomas. He's a straight shooter. He tells them what it is. He doesn't claim language so that you know, 'cause I didn't know anything about this stuff when I retired. So I walked into his office and immediately he felt comfortable. And I said, look, I know nothing about this. I don't want to lose my shirt. So please guide me in the right direction so that I'll be fit. And he sure did. And I'm very happy that I went there. And I even got my mother to join too. Now I feel comfortable that I'm fit and I don't have to worry about running out of money. What's worse than running out of money before you run out of life, right? Exactly. Give Junior Joe Thomas a call and schedule your no-charge consultation. His number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And online, juniorjoe.com. All right, Gina, thanks so much. Thank you, Brian.
We take on the social media warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All righty, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Dave in Royal Palm.
Hey, Dave. What's up?
Just one thing. Excuse me, I was just coughing a minute ago. But the thing about what these people are doing, it really just fits in with the rules for radicals insanity as far as bankrupting the Treasury. You know, just let it flow through everything. Go bankrupt. And, you know, I don't know what they're going to do about that. They're going to probably find the same thing on a smaller scale in every blue state. And, I mean, they're clearly at this point doing the rules for radicals like AOC and everybody else.
Yeah, but you know, but well, they're doing it here. First of all, this is what you do. You know, I know that wherever there's Somalians, apparently there's corruption, right? We're hearing out of Ohio and some other places. You got to focus in on one thing at a time, all right? If you get spread too far, you get too, you know, a juggler can only juggle so many balls, right? So Minnesota is where it's all at. I mean, we've got them. There's a lot of reporting. There's a lot of investigating. The feds are there. We've got names. We've got the proof. Nick Shirley's reporting. So you focus in on Minnesota. That's what you do about it.
Yeah, and if we find out it's widespread in Illinois, New York, and everything else, and we need personnel to investigate.
Well, you do one at a time. You do one at a time. If you do them all, you won't get anybody. You got to narrow in on one. You got to narrow in on one. And to me, there's nowhere as bad as Minnesota. Not with the Somalian Medicaid. That seems to be the worst. I know they're elsewhere, right? Like there's some, Dr. Oz said there's some Russian operation in Miami with Medicaid or something going on. When he did his thing. If they focus, and it looks to me like the president is focused in on Minnesota.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully people will kind of wake up and realize none of this is an accident or just poor judgment. It's a plan these people have, and it's got to be dealt with.
Mm-hmm. All right. Appreciate the call. And again, obviously the Somalians are the front people, but it's the Democrats that are the leaders of this. So Nick Shirley was on Fox, and of course, Tim Walz is out there playing the race card. So this clip here, this is Tim Walz, and this is on Fox yesterday. He had a little press conference in St. Paul, and then Nick Shirley responds. Now, hold on, make sure I got this. There it is, okay.
This is what happens when they target communities for their own benefit. This is what happens when they scapegoat. And this is what happens when they no longer hide the idea of white supremacy.
Okay, now I'll play the whole thing and then Nick Shirley's response. This isn't going to fly with Trump. It's not going to fly with Trump. Okay? I remember when we had Bernard Goldberg on the show when he first had his book come out many years ago, exposing the fake news media. And he told us this story when he was at CBS News. CBS News, remember he worked at the national CBS News. CBS Nightly News did a story on chain gangs at a local county jail in Florida. Or it might have been Florida, it was in the South. And they sent the footage back up to New York to air on CBS Evening News. They called the reporter back and said, you got to reshoot it. And there's too many black people on the chain gang. You need to find a chain gang that's got white people on it. And they said, well, this is who was there. And they said, no, we can't run this. It's racist. And Bernard Goldberg told Steve and I, he said, the worst thing you can say to a liberal is you are a racist. If you tell a white liberal they're a racist, this is what Bernie Goldberg said, because he worked with him. He says they fall down on the floor, get in a fetal position, start crying, and beg for forgiveness, right? And so what Tim Walz is doing is the old knee-jerk liberal playbook. Racism, race card, and saying white supremacy every sentence or two. And then he thinks that's going to cruise to them being able to get away with stealing at least $9 billion in Medicaid funds.
This is what happens when they target communities for their own benefit. This is what happens when they scapegoat. And this is what happens when they no longer hide the idea of white supremacy.
So it sounds to me, Nick, that Governor Tim Walz is saying that you and others that are out there trying to expose this, you're doing it because you're white supremacists. What is your response to him?
Yeah, Tim wants votes. There are entire apartment complexes where white people have been pushed out of these apartment complexes because Somalians have taken over and they're inside of these towns like Minneapolis where they can go get votes from these people. If you have 100,000 people that will vote for you because you're going to enable and let this stuff happen and because you're going to call a white person racist for calling out facts, this is what's going to happen to a state like Minnesota. Minnesotans, they say Minnesota nice, but they are very upset, and I fully understand why they're upset. Because they don't have a governor who's actually working for them, he's actually working against them.
Nick, your video's been viewed 93 million times. What do you think will be the result of this? Do you think that things will change because of bringing attention to this, or do you think it'll be much the same, swept under the rug and keep moving forward?
Yeah, there better be change. People are demanding it. The investigations have been launched just from that video alone. And so there better be change because, like I said, we work way too hard to be paying taxes. We work way too hard to be not knowing where our money's going. And at the end of the day, people in government, they work for us. We don't work for them. And so it's their responsibility to hold these people accountable. And so if there's not something that's happened, people are going to be very frustrated. And so President Trump watching this, it's time to really get down to nitty-gritty and to make a difference in this place of Minnesota that is pretty much like Somaliland right now.
Okay, yeah, okay. Believe me, President Trump is aware of this, okay? And the reporting that he did, I'll play some of it in the next hour. He uncovered just in one afternoon, over $100 million in fraud. Nick Shirley, just him and a guy with a little tiny microphone like I have clipped to my shirt right now that I use on YouTube, with a couple of very big professional bodyguards from a professional organization. But, you know, the fake news media, they couldn't do any of this. And what are they worried about? Like 60 Minutes, they want to go down and show that we're abusing these people at the El Salvadorian prison. Are they out of their minds? You know, the entire Somali community in Minnesota is involved in the largest organized financial criminal operation in history, no doubt in my mind, brought to you by the Democrat Party. Tim Walz is at the head of it, and I'm telling you, this Melissa Hortman assassination has something to do with it. And, you know, the thing about it is, because of it's a blue state and everything else, it's an outlaw place. It's like the Old West, right? The Old West was lawless. It's a lawless state. They don't even try to hide what they're doing. As an example, I told you they have these child care centers all over the place, receiving millions of dollars each with no children. The Medicaid fraud with the medical transportation, where they're not transporting people. The healthcare agencies that aren't giving people health care, they're just taking money from the government, and the list goes on. They're not even pretending to do it. You know, when the mafia would have an organization, no disrespect to the fine Italian people, I must say, because, you know, they deserve to be honored, but if the mafia had a money laundering operation, it would at least have the illusion that it was a functioning business, right? You know, remember Breaking Bad, the car wash was how he was laundering his money? They washed cars all day, and the wife worked there. He worked there at the car wash to give the illusion. What's going on in Minnesota, they're not even pretending to do work or do business. Not one child did Nick Shirley find. So, and it's documented. Now, they may be trying to rush children to these places now, but I don't think so. I don't think there's enough children to fill up all these places, even if they wanted to. But the Somali people, being a primitive society, don't have the ability to organize that way. And Tim Walz is running around with this white supremacy race card act, thinking that that's going to get him through it. It's not going to fly. Now, if you're on hold, stand by. We'll take calls after the top of the hour. I don't have time to take calls now. Our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. I want to tell you guys, you know, do you have a New Year's party coming up? Celebrate with Wings Plus. Load up on wings. You know, if you get takeout, you can get takeout like the day before even, okay? The 50 wing platter, however many wings you want. Ask them over at Wings Plus the reheating instructions. They'll give you the exact time and temperature in your oven. I forget what it is, but when I do this, they give it to me and I write it down. It works. The temperature, do exactly what they tell you. When you reheat your Wings Plus wings, they'll taste just like they came out of the kitchen. They got it down to a science. Wings Plus in Coral Springs is located about a mile west of University Drive on the south side of Sample Road. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show. All right, callers on hold, you stand by. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be back right after our top of the hour break. Oh, great. Mike, does Barry call today? Does Barry call today? Tomorrow, okay. Look at this. Somebody from the office, the radio station, gave me this cool flag as a gift. Is this not a cool gift? No. That's a great gift. Someone who works here at the radio station gave it to me. All right, the third hour has begun. I'll take a call or two, and then I'll play some of these clips from Nick Shirley. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, good morning.
Yes, you're on the air.
Can you hear me okay, Brian?
I can.
Hey, Ivy, good morning, brother.
Hey.
And there's so much on the table. I don't know where to begin. Quick on Zelensky last night. I mean, that guy doesn't seem like he should be running a Kool-Aid stand. If you really listen to him, bottom line, did they abandon him? We know that he was a puppet. Who was pulling his strings, we don't know. Well, it would be really awesome if Trump can finally put that nail in that coffin on that war and finally get the Nobel Prize for his library when he's gone. I think that would be pretty awesome. If he doesn't get the Nobel Prize, you guys are just scumbags, okay? He should have had it already. The lady from Argentina was going to give it to him, or was it the lady from Japan?
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it.
And Democrats. Morgan Freeman, as well as Martin Luther King, judge a man by the content of his character, not the color of his skin. Morgan Freeman said, if you stop talking about race, there wouldn't be any. So every time these people get caught, they want to bring up race. No, judge them by their actions.
Well, what we learned from the O.J. Simpson trial, the race card is when they got you. You're guilty and they got you. You start playing the race card.
Aren't you people fed up? You know, there's some hard-working Democrats out there, of course. But aren't you people fed up of the government stealing your money? Then you cry.
Not really. There was one white liberal woman who confronted Nick Shirley. I might play that too coming up, and she was trying to protect the fraudsters. Yeah. All right, IB, I appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is Diane from Connecticut.
All right, Diane.
I'm calling in regards to the meta glasses.
Oh, yes, the meta glasses, yes.
Right. Yes, I'm totally blind. I have not experienced that. Many blind people that I know have experienced it. And they actually help them go in an airport all by themselves and lead them to where they have to go to get the plane. They'll take them when they're shopping. They'll help them get stuff that they need to get. I haven't gotten them yet, and I don't know. I don't do too much by myself.
Well, that's amazing. The glasses are helping blind people. Really blind people. A lot of visually impaired people listen to radio. So, I was many years ago. The Lighthouse Center for the Blind invited me over and put me through they blindfolded me and put me through a day of training and all this. A lot of visually impaired people listen to radio. I can't really describe the major leap in technological advancement the meta glasses are, but you just told me something I didn't even think about. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing because I haven't done it. I don't know if I ever will. I'm 74 years old, so I'm not sure, you know, I'm very skeptical about things like
Yeah, yeah.
going and traveling by myself. But I do know that many people have done it who are blind, and they're just...
Well, the problem that the Meta glasses have is that they have the worst. They have one of the worst spokespeople you could have, right? Zuckerberg, because no one likes Zuckerberg, and he's a bad front man, and that's why everyone's not wearing them. I mean, it's, you know, all right. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. All right, take care. All right, so let me get to this. This is one of the clips. Nick Shirley, he goes to, this is one of the child care centers he went to that does not have children in it. No children at any of these. And this just gives you a little taste of what he experienced. Listen to this. This is, of course, it's owned and run by Somalis. Oh, yeah, okay, this is the one. Okay, wasn't sure. So he's going all over town. He's uncovering this fraud, the child care centers with no children. A white liberal woman, you hear that, don't open up? That's the white liberal woman comes up and tries to protect the fraudsters. Listen.
So this is Quality Learning Center. I meant to say Quality Learning Center. They spelled learning wrong. How do you have ice here, ma'am? I'm literally a YouTuber. Don't open up! Ma'am, what do you think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota? Don't open up! We have ice!
And what do you think about this place being licensed to 99 children?
Don't open up!
And getting $4 million over the $4 million in the last 2 years?
Go away!
What do you think about that? Are you in favor? Are you in favor of that?
Go away! You're not welcome here. Shame on you! Are you in favor of $1.9 million going illegally, fraudulently to this business that has Quality Learning Center but can't even spell learning right on the door? Don't open up! No, we are not ICE.
I don't care who you are, you don't belong here.
I belong here just like you belong here.
Don't open up, it's ICE!
You do realize that there's supposed to be 99 children in here at this building, but there's no one here. This is a child daycare center.
99 children. $1.9 million this year in CCAP funding. Do you know where the children are? Were they kidnapped? Did they run away? Where are the children? This is state of Minnesota. Right here.
And who are you?
My name's Nick Shirley, ma'am.
And who are you with?
Nick Shirley. Nick Shirley on YouTube.
Yeah, so who are you with here?
Oh, he's just been doing some research investigating the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota. This lady keeps calling us ICE. We're just trying to put law and order back in the streets of the United States. Get rid of all the fraud.
Yeah, I mean, so there's your liberal response. They don't care. And, you know, and she's probably not one of the big fraudster power brokers that's receiving all the money. She just thinks that they should be allowed to steal. And it's so, you know, there's a scene in Woody Allen's movie, Annie Hall. You guys ever see Annie Hall? Did you ever see Annie Hall, Mike? There's a scene in Annie Hall where Woody Allen is talking about his liberal New York parents. And they do this flashback, and the mother finds out that their cleaning lady, who's black and lives in Harlem, stole money out of her purse. So she goes to Woody Allen's father and says, the cleaning lady stole, I don't know, it was $50 out of my purse. She wants to fire her. And Woody Allen's liberal father says, so what? So what? She's black. She's got a right to steal. It's in the movie. It's a funny thing. You know? And then he says, if she doesn't steal from us, who is she going to steal from? She's got a right to steal. Well, it's in Annie Hall. Go look it up. I'm sure that scene, you can find it easy online. But, you know, for something to be funny, there has to be truth into it. And even Annie Hall, which is an old movie, Woody Allen, who's a liberal with a lot of problems, even he knew the truth of what goes on with liberals. Let's see, do I have time for another one? Okay, here's another clip of Nick Shirley. on the streets of Minnesota uncovering Somali Democrat fraud.
Knocked on the door, and to my surprise, somebody actually answered the door. Hello? Can you speak? I'd like to check a child in the daycare. Can I speak to a manager? Where can I get paperwork to file for my son? I want to put my son Joey in daycare. And after 2 questions, the lady was silent. Looks like little Joey Shirley ain't going to daycare here. And now where are we going?
Now we're going to Sweet Angel Child Care.
We're in the middle of a strip mall here inside this neighborhood.
In fiscal year 2025, this facility, which has its license for 74 kids, was paid $1.26 million in tax money. And there are no kids, and all the facilities are the same way, all of them.
Let's see if anyone opens. Once again, I tried to find a spot for my son Joey. He would not open the door. I want to put my son Joey in daycare. Cuz I need a spot to put my son Joey. Is this your daycare center? Well, I just want to put a child in daycare, but all the daycare centers seem to be closed. No one's opening the door.
Oh, what? Yeah. What's up? Where are the kids? Yep. Says it's licensed for 74 children. Right here, state of Minnesota. Where are the kids? They got paid $1.26 million in fiscal year 2025. It says that they have a capacity for 74 children.
Where?
Where are the kids? Right here. State of Minnesota website. You work here and you don't know?
I don't know. I know what's this. Hold on. I don't know what's this.
Are there kids when you work there? Good. How many? I don't know. You don't know.
Yeah.
You work here. Okay, what do you got here now?
Can I put my son in a daycare here? Can I speak to someone? No. Yeah, I would like to see if I can put my son Joey here.
Who's your son, Joey?
My son Joey. Can I check out the daycare center?
No! Get him a diet. I'm the owner.
You,
Yeah, see, another child, and it goes on and on. Childless child care centers receiving $1.2 million for only 74 kids that don't even exist. And it's the whole Somali community where this is going on. And he went to many other businesses, all receiving federal funding, but not doing any of the work for the money. Over and over and over again. All right. I want to talk about the Sloman's Home Security. This offer is still in place. The free home security system with free professional installation and 24/7 central station monitoring. You get all that for just $24.95 a month. And you get that locked in for 5 years. All you got to do is call 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. That's right, a free home security system and professional installation, absolutely free. Your Sloman's home security system includes a touchscreen keypad, 3 door or window sensors, a motion detector, notifications, and remote keypad access. Again, give them a call. Take advantage no matter where you're located. 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live right now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Scott on the radio reminding you that your favorite artist back on the air right after 10 a.m. this morning, right here on the True Oldies channel.
Remember the feeling you got the first time you saw the king of rock and roll? Elvis Presley. Relive the memories at Chris McDonald's Memories of Elvis Rock and Birthday Bash. Saturday, January 10th at 7 p.m. The Miniachi Performing Arts Center at NSU Davie. Chris McDonald with his full production band and dancers is the only tribute artist hired by Elvis Presley Enterprises to perform at Graceland's Heartbreak Hotel. Saturday, January 10th at 7 p.m. Call 954-462-0222 or go to miniachipac.com.
Thank you very much. This is Mark Laporta, son of Tom Laporta and proud second-generation owner of Laporta Roofing. As a military veteran who served in the Army after 9/11, I brought the same dedication and discipline to our family business. At Laporta Roofing, we've been serving our community for nearly 4 decades, and we're committed to continuing that legacy of excellence. Our team specializes in all types of roofing systems, from shingle to tile, slate, metal, and flat roofs. We're the go-to experts for single-family homes, HOA communities, and condo associations. limited time offer for a free roof inspection. Call us now at 954-604-4602 or visit us at leporterroofing.com. Trust the experts who have been protecting homes like yours for generations. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Sandra. I'm calling from Delray Beach. The Barry Siegel Law Group did such wonderful work for me, and I was very particular. I'm a professional myself, and I went to about 3 or 4 attorneys prior. They wanted to do what they wanted to do. They didn't want to add anything extra, but Barry tailored it to my needs. It's not only the trust. There's so many other end-of-life documents, the living will, the will, and I tailored each one of them.
I'm running early.
That's good. All right, how's it going?
Good, man. If you can't take me now, I'll wait.
Okay.
A little something for you.
Oh, awesome. Appreciate it. I got your bag over here I used today to bring all my stuff in. Oh, great. Nice hat. I can always use a good hat. Absolutely. Oh, that's even better.
Yeah.
I guess, somebody gave me a master's hat a couple years ago, which was really nice. This will go with that.
Cool. You want me to come back in?
Yeah, just in a few minutes. Yeah. After the, no, hold on. I'll have to talk to you later. Hold on. Coming back.
Give the Siegel Law Group a call, 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at True Oldies.
All righty, we're back. The Monday after Christmas. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Ryan, Chris from Pamela.
Hey, Chris, what's up?
I'll tell you this, talk about audacity. It's really, as bad as it is, with this fraud, and particularly with the Somalian licensing, it's worse than that because here's the thing. Like, I had a family that handed down their daycare to their daughter like maybe 15 years ago. My son used to go there during the summers when it was small enough, but because they have the summer care, daycare, all that. But they can spec like nobody's business, to use one of your phrases, on a monthly basis, if not weekly basis. There's so much criteria that goes into being around child care centers with government. So from the city, Minnesota to, government, they're washing all that and sweeping all that under the rug to help with this fraud. There's one thing to get a license and get the initial inspection and say, okay, your facility is clear for children. You have enough bathrooms, you have enough space, you have enough this and that. But there are regular inspections and checkups and everything else, and none of that.
Not in Minnesota. They're all on the take. They're all, and this. Let me tell you, over the weekend is when Ilhan Omar's husband started cleansing his fake venture capitalist firm website of names and other information. It was after Nick Shirley's report dropped that's been viewed by over 100 million people on Friday. So that means they are afraid that the feds are going to be banging the door down.
Cut those funds, obviously. I hope President Trump.
Well, does Kash Patel know how to put handcuffs on someone? He needs to be there. And, this isn't just the biggest financial scandal. And this is the thing. It's the Democrats, not the Somalians. The Somalians are a primitive people from a prehistoric society that do not have the ability to put together a financial fraud operation of this level. If you did, you'd get busted. The only way you could get this going, that's what you said, Chris, right? There's so much oversight. You could not have an operation like this going without government approval for the fraud machine. And I'm telling you, those Democrats that got murdered, in particular Melissa Hortman, I'm telling you, it had something to do with this Medicaid fraud in Minnesota.
100%.
Why else did that happen? And remember what the killer said? The killer said Tim Walz sent him. Now, I'm not saying Tim Walz did, but the killer said that.
Oh, sure. Like you said, Tim Walz, I'm sure he gave the order. He knows what's going on. This is huge, and there's no way to clean this up, like you said, on a big... I'm telling you, there's going to be... President Trump is all over this, okay?
We got the Tim Walz bill that they are pushing through Congress last. This all happened Christmas week. A lot of you may not have been following the news. Both the Justice Department and the Treasury Department are on this, on top of Health and Human Services. So there's three cabinet level posts are on top of this, right? Justice, Treasury, and Scott Bessett doesn't mess around, and Robert Kennedy and Dr. Oz at Health and Human Services, and then Nick Shirley. And I'm telling you, Nick Shirley, I don't want to take anything away from Nick Shirley because he is an independent guy. However, it's not a coincidence that he hooked up with this guy and broke the biggest story ever the same week that these other things happened in Minnesota. It's all connected. So President Trump is all over this, and there really needs to be a federal takeover of the state of Minnesota. They do not have a functioning government. It's one big organized crime ring.
Yeah, 100%. You'd be amazed whose pockets are getting fat. Everything from campaign funds, I'm sure, to like the reason why Omar is worth how many?
30 million. And the thing about Ilhan Omar, she married this white guy. I assumed, because he was like a campaign guy or something, I assumed he was like one of these rich, connected guys. He was not wealthy until after they got married. And they just got married a couple years ago. So now they're worth $30 million. He set up this fake venture capital firm, the one he's purging the records of online. And that's a panic move because everyone knows you can't delete something from the internet. Once it's there, it's on the Wayback Machine. Okay, so that's a move of a scared man who's afraid that the door's getting broken in over New Year's or something, like he's Roger Stone with CNN. There's no other reason why he'd be doing that.
No, absolutely. I mean, wake up, everybody. Goodness.
All right. Absolutely. All right. Take care, Chris. No, and I know a lot of people will say, well, nothing ever happens, and they get no. This is different, and President Trump is on top of this, and maybe the deputy director that's replacing Dan Bongino knows what to do and can take the lead and go arrest some people, because obviously Bongino doesn't know what the heck he's doing, and Kash Patel is more worried about sports betting and his girlfriend than much of anything else, it seems. But this is going to be, this Minnesota Medicaid scandal is going to be one of the biggest issues in next year's midterm elections. No doubt about it. And it's not a normal thing that's going on. One of the things that they're trying to do, and this is what I warned a caller about earlier in the show, one of the things they're trying to do is there's also in Miami this thing, and in Ohio there's this other Medicare fund. Don't get distracted on any of that. Focus everything in on Minnesota, because not only do we have all the information and it's been uncovered, and we have the records and the paperwork and Nick Shirley's reporting and all, we have everything. We have everything. The Ilhan Omar story and everything. We got everything. We've got all the evidence. Focus in on that. And then we've got two other things. The murders of the Democrats, in particular Melissa Hortman, which I'm telling you, remember, Melissa Hortman is the one who voted against the Medicaid funding for the illegals. And then she gets herself assassinated. And we see now what's going on with the Medicaid. There is no doubt in my mind that they're connected. Okay? No doubt. And you know that President Trump's mind is right on that. Okay? And then we have this other thing is, why did they pick Tim Walz to be Kamala's running mate? Because of the good work he was doing in Minnesota overseeing this fraud operation. And they may try to make Tim Walz the fall guy. This is bigger than Tim Walz. Right? Remember the lieutenant governor, I shared on one of the shows last week, it might have been Friday, I can't remember. But on one of last week's show, I shared with you Tim Walz's lieutenant governor did a press conference wearing a burqa. White girl, she put on a burqa and did a press conference. The lieutenant governor of Minnesota. So every level of Minnesota state government is involved in this operation. And it's got to be national too, going back to the Biden regime, because there's too much money being spent on this fraud that is, fraud. All right, now let me talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. This is the year, guys, that your New Year's resolution to lose weight is going to come true. I was talking about, I'm wearing these pants today that I should not be wearing. I pulled these old pair of jeans out of the closet this morning in the dark. These are old jeans before I lost all the weight, and they're falling off my body. I had to add a hold of my belt, and my hands are in my pockets because I'm holding the pants up, and I'm not doing a very good job. They're falling down because these are jeans from before I lost all the weight. Coastal Weight Loss Secret works, guys. I went over there in January, and remember, I lost 25 pounds in 3 weeks. Give them a call. They can help you no matter where you're located and schedule your no-charge consultation. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightloss.secret.com. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Scott on the radio, reminding you that your favorite oldies are back on the air right after 10 a.m. this morning on the True Oldies channel.
Brand new.
All right.
Should be good to go. Yeah, cool.
Okay, do you have anything in particular? We're going to talk about the end of the year stuff, but is there anything in particular?
Anything in particular. I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah. I was running early today, man. I was like, meanwhile, I'm right down the street now. I'm in PGA now.
Oh, your house. You moved into your new house. Yeah.
So now I'm like literally 7 minutes.
Oh, so that's why you're early.
5 minutes, yeah. But that's why I texted you at 6. I'm like, 6, whatever it was. I'm like, am I coming in today? Just wanted to double check,
Yeah.
What's new? Anything?
Nothing new.
Same old stuff.
Next time you come in, though, I want to get together with you after the show. I got a couple things I can't tell you now because all you people, but I wanted to run a couple things by you.
That's excellent. You want to do that the first week of the New Year?
Whenever you're back in, yeah, because I just need to,
Yeah. All good.
I don't like to text, and I like to talk in person. You know what I mean?
It's construed wrong. If you,
Yeah.
I mean, like some people they go, wait a minute, what's he mean?
Well, if it's important.
I had one lady say to me, you sound so mean. I'm like, no, it's called matter of fact.
Yeah.
27 words, they write, and I go, no.
Yeah. Yeah. All my texts are short and sweet. I put nothing in writing.
Yeah. Or they ask you, this is the words they ask you, like 12 questions.
Oh.
You're supposed to answer them in an email.
Yes.
It's taking me an hour.
Yeah.
And then anything I put out of context, because in my business, they're going to be like, oh, you said this date.
Yeah.
So stupid. Anyway.
All right, got one more commercial after this, then we'll be back. Oh, here's your mic. We can talk about, too, we can promote your show with your new studio. It's working out pretty good.
Yeah. Except
that happens. I've had that happen many times.
we did too. 2 shows.
It happens.
Because that was
Did you tell them what I told you about to do it?
So what we did was, as soon as we redid both shows. We were actually easier.
Yeah.
We knew the topic. And then,
I've done that many times.
yeah, we did them over, and then I said, Evan, make sure. He goes, no, it's good, it's good. Actually, I bought another mic, the same one. Works great. Man.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, so for you, so that they're the same mic, it's the same level.
And it's just me and Jenny. Dana kind of doesn't want to be on the show. So we're like, okay, fine, whatever. You don't want to be on it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're rolling with it. Silver, I was watching something.
Oh, my goodness.
It's like $78. I think they said
Crazy.
maybe 80 break today.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I know.
I bought some gold when it was like $2,000 an ounce, but I could have put 10 times as much in it, and I didn't. I said,
Oh.
I thought gold was going to go back down. I'm being honest, You're in the
Well, everything will go back down.
Yeah, eventually it does.
But the base, whatever the base. All right, and we're back. Jupiter Joe Thomas, last time for the year in studio. How's it going?
Great, man.
All right, well, I want to talk about a couple things. Of course you're here because it's the end of the year. So there's only a couple really work days left in the year. I can see you're dressed for the office, so you're going to work today.
Got some appointments there.
So what should people, when it comes to annuities, why should people before the end of the year give you a call?
Well, the next 3 days here, you have time to still make a contribution to your IRA, and into the new year, you have time to make contributions to your IRA. But what I like to do with clients is make a contribution this year, get a bonus on it, and then next year, right away, get another bonus on an annuity with an IRA.
Oh, wait. Okay. So you can get an annuity this week, get a bonus, and get another one next week and get another bonus?
Yeah. In fact, most of the bonus annuities that we have give you 12 months to add money.
Mhm.
Now, if something's not good, why would they limit 12 months?
Yeah.
The reason they give you 12 months is because it is good. And some of these bonuses go away. I mean, I had a client who wanted one, and he kept putting it off. He put it off so long that it disappeared.
Mhm.
The bonuses change and evolve all the time, So right now we've got one, 15%, Brian. Pretty significant.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you put 100 grand in, you started with 115,000 day one.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
So,
insane.
One thing I want to bring up is, I get this question all the time. They always ask me, do I have enough money to retire? You know when you have enough money to retire? If you have enough income.
That's right.
That's really what it is. It's
That's
simple.
right.
It's not about the number you have in your nest egg or IRA or 401k. It's how much money that's going to produce into income for you.
Well, a lot of guys that are financial advisors that I've heard on the radio over the years, they have different numbers, but they're always in the millions. Okay, you got to have 3 million or 4 million to retire. And that people are like, I'm never going to have 3 or 4 million in the bank.
It's less than 1%.
But I find even with people that are very well-to-do, it still boils down to their monthly income,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, 100%.
Because you've got your expenses, and that's it. And that's where the annuity comes in.
Well, this is what I tell people. If you have a 401k, they're fantastic contributing, products where you can add to them while you're working 30 years. How do you distribute money? Nobody knows, and your job is not going to tell you. Your boss is not going to tell you.
And if you start taking money out, you're just chipping away at your nest egg, and you'll end up with nothing.
And if you do it incorrectly, you're taxed at 20% withholding on the money.
Yeah, yeah. So taking your money out of your 401k and putting it into an annuity is a way to generate income from your money without chipping away at your principal or the tax penalties.
You just hit the nail on the head, Brian. That's it. That's simple. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to make a Christmas bonus? Now's the time to buy an annuity, get a 15% bonus on anything you put money into for the next 12 months, and then take income for the rest of your life guaranteed.
Yeah, one of the things you were, I was on your show recently, you were telling me this, and I don't know if this still applies, but we'll find out right now. You were telling me that, because next year, we're going to get a new Fed chair soon, and as a condition, they're going to do what Trump wants, drop the interest rates.
100%.
And a lot of people are doing very well. I don't know what the different types of products are. You can tell. They're doing very well because interest rates are high, but next year when the interest rates drop, they're going to not be doing so well. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so anybody that has a high yield savings account, a money market, a CD, rates are coming down. And people know they were getting in the 5s, now they're getting in the 3s, okay? And if Trump has his way, which he probably will with what's going on, he's going to get a new Fed chair, he's going to hire him, and hopefully this changes, interest rates are going down. And that's going to affect all those rates significantly. But now's the time to lock into the higher rates we have, which are higher than the banks, higher than the high yield.
And these bonuses.
And the
So,
bonuses.
so let's slow down. You've got the high yield bank accounts, which are those are amazing, but the interest rates go down. It's not going to be yielding so high.
Correct.
CDs.
Yep.
And
Money markets.
And the the money market's the third one.
Yeah.
So there's this old saying with financial investments: buy low, sell high. With those, right now you're at the high.
Yeah, and they're going to come down.
So
Even more.
yeah, so if you don't do it now, you're going to do it later, but you're going to be facing.
For example, the rates are 3.5%. We're 5.5%.
Yeah.
2 points on 100,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah, it is. It is. So how does that work? So if somebody comes to you, I've got a CD, I've got a money market, or a high yield bank account. How do they turn that into an annuity? What's the process?
So basically, they just write a check. And they say, hey, Joe, I want to roll over $200,000 in my IRA or non-IRA. Most of the time, that money's non-qualified, non-IRA money.
Yeah.
And they write a check, and they're starting to get new interest that's higher than they were getting at the banks.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, really comes down to, I had a gentleman in Georgia. He was getting 0.50, 0.5%. We got him 5.5%. He's making $30,000 a year more interest for 5 years. It's $150,000 in his pocket by making one phone call.
That's amazing.
It's serious. This is serious.
You
That's
know,
more money.
this is why there are people who retire, in many instances, find out they're making more money retired.
That happens.
And it happens more often than not. All right, now before you go, I wanted to talk about you've really done, I don't know how to describe it, an upgrade to your show.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you have a new studio, which is a beautiful studio, and I want to. How can people listen to your radio show? Yeah, of course, on our stations. Do you know when it's on our stations?
I don't.
Okay.
So my son does that.
I don't either. Do you know, Mike? I could look it up.
Yeah. Well, we're doing the YouTube.
Yeah.
You go to youtube.com. And then you type in Jupiter Joe Money Show.
Yeah.
The shows will come up now. We're trying to do as many as we can. You know, it's not easy, and it's good stuff.
Yeah, and you do the show with your daughter mostly.
My daughter mostly, yep. And it's just the same show, but we upgrade it a little bit. We talk about different things. And you know, it's all new to me too. I got to be honest with you, Brian. And I love it. I love it. And people have given us good reviews, so to speak, whatever that means. So I'm happy.
That's a very unusual thing because people tend to tell you what's bad. They don't. If you're getting compliments, you're doing something right. Well, listen, give Joe Thomas a call, and this week you're going to be. What are your hours? What days you open?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 9 to 5.
Oh, really? All the way to 5 on Wednesday?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, so listen, give Joe Thomas a call. Take advantage of that no-charge consultation. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And if you missed the number, just go to his website, jupiterjoe.com. All right, Joe, we'll talk to you next time.
Happy New Year, Merry Christmas.
All right, take care. Oh, by the way, thanks for the Christmas gift. Appreciate it. All right, our number is 888-465-2631. So, you know, just to sum up what's going on here, starting next week, it's midterm election season. And this election is, I know people are saying, and these defeatists. Okay, I give you an example of what I mean by this. There's an interview that Pelosi did. I heard a clip of it this morning. And they asked her if the Democrats win the midterms. And she said, not if, we will win the midterms. Now, Nancy Pelosi is a terrible woman. She's a corrupt public official and all that. But I agree with her on her attitude. Right? The Power of Positive Thinking. It's one of the president's favorite books. She said, we will win when we win. We've got a bunch of doomsayers, a bunch of losers in our own party. They're like, well, the party in power always loses. You know, President Trump is back from just a terrible 4 years in between. A second non-consecutive term. They shot him, tried to shoot him again, arrested him, 3-4 times. Tried to put him in prison when they weren't shooting him, right? Broke into his house. You know the list of what they did, and he's back in the White House. A man who can do that can win the midterms. We will win the midterms if we have an attitude like Nancy Pelosi. We will win. You're not going to win when you have a bunch of people like Jesse Waters and others say, we're going to lose. Why are we going to lose? Do you know that the crime stats are out? Do you know that the murder rate in 2025 is at its lowest rate in the history of the government keeping track of the murder statistics? Murders have never been as low as they are right now because of Donald Trump. Most of it is the shutting down the border and the deportations. But there's other reasons too. But that's the main one. So I mean, I could go through a whole list, and I will throughout the year. We will win the midterms if we have a massive voter turnout. If we swamp them at the polls and treat this like a presidential election year, we will win. If you're running around like Jesse Waters and these others, we'll lose the midterm, party in power, lose the midterm, then you're going to lose. Okay? We will win if we have a large turnout. And there's no reason why we shouldn't. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Yep.
I'm calling from Washington.
All right. Washington State or D.C.?
State.
Okay. What's up, Washington State?
Yeah, so I just wanted to ask, did you hear about that real late-term abort for the witness?
Oh, this is a good one. Don't go anywhere. We'll talk. I love how these liberals all have this question that they want to ask if I heard about. Okay, tell me about this one. When and where did it happen? When and where did it happen?
There's an allegation in the file.
An allegation. By who?
Oh, I don't exactly.
Okay, well, okay. You're talking about the President of the United States. So so the allegation, what was the situation in which he witnessed this late-term abortion? I've never heard of late-term abortions being open to the public to view. How did this happen?
Term abortion, I mean, there was an allegation in the files that he was
In the files.
of an infant
Okay.
on Lake Michigan.
On Lake Michigan now. Okay. And when did this happen? And when did this supposedly happen?
I'd have to look it up.
Well, around about, like what decade? This is like E. Jean Carroll. Can't even tell us the decade or a year. Can you give me a like roundabout? The 90s, the 2000s, the 80s? When?
I don't actually care to change your mind, dude. You're just...
No, I want to get to the bottom. No, I want to ask you a question. No, don't run away. Oh, he hung up. See, you know what? You know why he hung up? You know why he hung up? The reality was starting to sink in. Because this is what where I was going to go with him next, okay? Donald Trump has been one of the most famous men in America since the late 70s. He was famous in New York in the 70s. Nationally, he's been a nationally known household name celebrity since the early 80s. So I'm trying to figure out why after 10 years in politics, since he came down the escalator, why this story of one of the most famous men who's ever lived in America being present, first he said a late-term abortion, then it was a murder of a child. Why am I just hearing about this now, over 10 years after he came down the escalator? And certainly if this story was in the files, that's going to be their response to everything's in the files, but they don't have the file to show you. I mean, first of all, why would Donald Trump do that? As famous as he is, when people commit murder, rarely are there witnesses. Do you know why that is? They kill the witnesses, right? Because they can ID you at the scene of a murder. That's why Ron Goldman was killed by O.J. He came upon O.J. when he was killing Nicole or shortly after he killed her. So why would someone who's so famous and recognizable be at such a thing with witnesses? Why, after 10 years, have we not heard about it before? And why is the mainstream Trump-hating media not covering this 24/7? All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take our break and come back with the first gold and precious metals report of the week after this.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Oh, we're back already? Oh, is William Youngman on the line? Oh, can you call? Okay, all right, we're back. Okay. Oh, caught me off guard. I was getting ready to, good thing I didn't run to the men's room. All right, we're back. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll wait a second and see if we can get William Youngman on the line, and then we'll get the first gold report. There were no spots during the break. If you're on hold, stand by. The number to call in is toll-free, 888-465-2631. Every once in a while, we got to prove to you that we're live. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call, no matter where you are listening. You know, it's really an interesting thing. You know, we'll go to William Youngman. Okay, on line 2. Okay. All right, it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca with our first gold and precious metals report of this New Year's week. William Youngerman, how the metals looking? William Youngerman, you with us? Okay, good. That's okay. That's okay. With the way that the metals are looking, I can understand being distracted. So how the metals starting the week off, William Youngerman?
Metals are starting off the week lower after a huge gains on Friday, the 26th. And Friday we saw gold trade in a range of $4,475 on the low to $4,551 on the high. Closing out the week, it's up $54.40 at $4,533 the ounce. Silver, the big gainer, or one of the big gainers, they're all big gainers, On Friday, we saw it close up, get this, $7.43 up in one day at $79.27 the ounce. Platinum gained $213, closing out the week at $24.51. And palladium was up $223, closing out the week at $1,922.
Wow.
We suspected a lot of profit taking coming in this morning. And overnight, we saw gold trade in a range of $4,434 all the way up to $4,550. Silver hit a high overnight, early last night, of $84 on the high.
Oh.
Right now, we are back selling some of these. This move.
Yeah.
Gold is down $106.30 right now at $4,426.70. Silver's down $6.11 at $73.17. Platinum is down $219 at $2,232, and palladium is down $259 at $1,663 the ounce. So basically giving back much or most of the gains, and even more of the gains from Friday on a lot of profit taking.
Yeah, but it sounds to me like there's a New Year's week sale going on today on the metals. I mean, this has just been a wild ride that just keeps going and going and going. William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. You could stop in Boca at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1, Federal Highway, on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. Or give them a call, 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. And you can find both his address and phone number online at williamyoungerman.com. What are your hours this week, William, or is it too early to know yet?
Today, normal hours, tomorrow, normal hours, and Wednesday, call for appointment.
There you go. All right, so today and tomorrow, normal hours. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow. All right, take care. All right, back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Renee from Harlem.
Oh, hey, Renee.
Yeah, I wanted to correct your racist radio show and tell you it wasn't President Obama that came up with the slogan of one settler, one bullet.
Let me tell you, say that again. You say that again, you're going to be banned from the show for life. You called in, you called in on Friday with it. You say that, you say that again, you and I will never speak and you'll be banned for life. You said it on Friday. You said it today. This is a one warning thing. I'm going to end the call because you won't be able to man up and you'll say it again now. Think about it. Let me tell you what's going on with him. I've seen this happen with liberal callers many times over the years. They can't handle the truth of what they're exposed to on this program, but they're addicted to us like Hunter Biden is addicted to cocaine and hookers. So they do things to make us purge them from the program. That is not an idle threat. That is a reality. You say, I shouldn't even give you another chance. And everybody will tell me that. But I'm going to, because I'm a nice guy, Renee. You say that again, you are banned for life. Not kidding. You have to do a lot to get banned from this program. You can count on one hand how many people are banned. There would be, but some of them have died over the years because it's the longest running radio show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is JJ from Ashley.
Hey, JJ. I'm serious as a heart attack, Renee. Think about it.
Should think about it. You know,
He won't, though. He won't. He'll do it.
well, you know what? Listen, whether he does or he doesn't, it's pretty sad.
The show will go. The show will go on without Renee from Harlem. Probably better.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you on that. And I was just thinking, Nick Shirley this was amazing. The Minnesota fraud, the child care, the health care, and hello, I'm guilty. When I want to check a child into child care, and the answer is why. It's like going to McDonald's. I want a Big Mac. Why? It was just crazy. And I think what people...
Because everybody knows that they don't really take care of children there. Why would you be coming here for that? Yeah.
There's no children there. It's just... Here's the thing about that type of crime. A good business or a nice idea, Brian, will always be, copied or franchised. It will be repeated. You follow the success. And it's the same thing with crime. If these criminals, if they find a good crime, they repeat it. It will be copied. If you look at the NGOs under Biden, they spiked in the second, third, and fourth year. They spiked to like 1,000%, increase in ranks because that's how they were laundering the money in getting away with it. So a good crime, especially with Democrat help, it's going to be. You're going to find this wherever the Somalians. I think you said this. I was thinking this, but I think you may have said it over the past, few days or week or so, that they have Somalians. You're going to find the crime. I think there was some in Maine, there was some here, but you're going to find others too that are doing this crime because it's just, they get away with it.
Now, times are different now with President Trump, and they really need to focus in on Minnesota, which I believe the Trump administration is focused on Minnesota.
No, that's what I'm saying. You've got to concentrate, but it's going to be everywhere. Concentrate
Yes.
on Minnesota, wherever you find the crime. But my point is just being that we just came off of 4 years with where the criminals and the witnesses are all the same damn people. 10% for the big.
Well, let me tell you what happens here. There was this was about 35 years ago, maybe a little less. But when I first started working as a board op, I board opped overnight at a radio station. And this is before the internet and everything, okay? And we had an AP machine that printed up things on an AP machine, like those old computer printers. And there was someone with the radio station, they would call, I was new, I was a kid, they'd call me for the sports scores in the middle of the night. Because there was no internet or anything, we would get the sports scores nationally printed up on a sheet, which were impossible to get anywhere else back then. And it was this way every night. And I remember when I first got this board op job, when they were training me, they say, "Oh, this person will call you every night around 2, 3 in the morning for the sports scores. Just print them up and read them off to them." And found out they were part of a gambling ring. Okay, that involved. I'm not going to say who they were but they were foreigners, and they got away with it. And they were getting the scores earlier for the bookies, and the reason they got away with it is because they were foreigners, and they all claimed not only speak English, they only spoke a dialect of their language that was spoken in some very few. The court didn't have any translators for this dialect, so they got away with it. And if you go on the cruise, guys, I'll tell you guys that go on the cruise who it was and the nationality and everything else. You'll get it. It's a well-known person, somewhat, if you're a radio listener in Miami. So anyway, back to this. You can't focus in on the Somalians because they're gonna go. First off, the reason they use Somalians is because they're tribal. And they won't talk. Even within the Somalia community, there's different tribes they won't speak. They won't even speak. They won't talk. They won't sing. They're not going to have enough translators to translate the legal process properly for Somalians. And I'm sure there's different dialects of it. This is not about the Somalians. It's about the Democrats. And you got to focus in on Tim Walz and the Democrats. That's where you got to focus in on. They're the ones that are the leaders of this crime ring, not the Somalians. And you'll never get. They're the leaders. They're the bosses. The Somalians didn't come here and set up this operation. The Democrats brought them here and gave them this business.
It's sort of like, there's a bunch of moles going through the ground. There's all kinds of corruption in our federal government. And every time we open one door, there's like 10 other doors. And it's just, I keep getting, I'd like to say I'm surprised, but the fraud within the medical community is just, this kind of, to me, just opens so many other doors. There's so much corruption in it. And I just hope we nail.
And let me tell you, Nick Shirley he really should not go back to Minnesota. I don't care who his security team is, unless he's with the president. It is not safe.
Every single one of them, probably, if they have their own little post office, his picture's probably the only one up there. Somali's most.
But they probably think all white guys look alike. So, but.
Well, my hair is. I'm 62, and my hair is kind of like white silver.
Yeah.
I might get away with it. I really don't want to walk around Minnesota anywhere near.
You'd be safe. No, it is not safe. And that guy that Nick Shirley was with, he lives in Minnesota. He really took a risk. I know they've been after him before, but this is different. It's real now.
Yeah, it's opened the eyes. It's been, the perception is reality, and everybody's perception was they didn't have a perception because they hadn't seen anything.
That's right.
People have seen it. Now they can focus in on it, and it should change.
That's right. All right, listen, appreciate the call. Take care. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'll try to squeeze a call or two before the end. But, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day are just a couple days away. And, according to the American Heart Institute, Christmas Day and New Year's Day are the two deadliest days of the year when it comes to heart attacks. Call Life Imaging FLA. I'm going to give you the number in a moment. So it's the easiest number in the world to remember, but grab something to write with. And when you call, ask about your free heart scan with just a few minimum requirements valued at $699. You've heard me talk about people who went over there with no symptoms and found out that they were just a little bit away from a heart attack because of the amount of blockage that they had, or that they had kidney cancer that they didn't know about. They're alive today during this holiday season with their families because they went to Life Imaging FLA and had the free heart scan or the cancer screening, or both, which you should get both. I've had both. They're all about preventative health. Life Imaging FLA have locations in Broward, Palm Beach, and Dade County. From your cell phone, dial pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250 and say free heart scan. Pound 250 and say free heart scan. You will be connected in seconds. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian, you got about 30 seconds.
Brian, can we say that we'd be better off if Nick Shirley was running the FBI than Cash Patel? What is this? I mean, he's doing the investigations. He's going out.
Cash Patel, two things with Cash. One, like with Bongino, I think he hyped up his resume a lot the last 4 years. And his girlfriend is probably the hottest girl he's ever been with. So, that's what he's concerned about. He sucks.
This massive corruption in Minnesota would appear on his radar screen.
I would move the director's office to the field office in St. Paul, and I would be leading, if I were him, some arrest. We need put some handcuffs on someone. Maybe you can borrow a pair.
What is the field office in St. Paul doing in Minnesota? They don't see any of this. Haven't heard about it.
Well, they know. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right, I'm out of time for the day, but you're right on the money. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. I'm Brian Craig. God bless Donald Trump. See you tomorrow. All right, guys. Thanks for watching.